Hello, sumo fans.
Happy summer.
It has been a long time, even though it's been exactly the same amount of time as last time. It feels like forever.
Yeah, it's a different feeling. So like in the winter, it feels like forever because there's nothing going on. But then in the summer, it's just like so much happened in our daily lives.
That we're like, oh wow, it's time for sumo again.
It's time for sumo.
I like kind of forgot about it for a little bit.
We got so distracted.
The good thing for sumo prime time because it reminds me that tournaments are coming up.
Yeah, and it's the constant good content. Another shout out to Sumo Prime Time.
Yes, I very much enjoying the behind the scenes and the little interviews and getting to know people's personalities. Looks like Chris Sumo's taking a little bit of a hiatus too. So
a lot of the stuff he's been working on is behind the scenes now. Like he's doing like the translations, publishings. I feel like there's a lot of like him doing some community outreach stuff.
The Chiyoshoma interview, which was super awesome.
Both the interview with the people who did the Netflix sumo thing too.
Yes, which I've yet to watch. If anybody who's listening has watched it, please put something in the comment section about whether or not you enjoy it, because I'm trying to figure out if it's worth it to watch or not.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, you get to learn about sort of the behind the scenes kind of stuff. I mean, Chiyoshoma was probably, like, if you had to pick between the two to watch, the Chiyoshoma one was sublime.
Oh yeah, there was a totally different side to a sumo wrestler than I think we've ever seen.
Like, promising was that it sounded like Chiyoshoma was an in for him to then talk to some other people in the same way that the live stream with Hiro Morita in Sumo Prime Time was the in to get more people to come. So I think there is going to be like this great influx of like quality sumo content reaching out to the Western audiences
that are far separated from Japan, and this is the only way we can get it.
Yeah,
so.
I'm feeling increasingly optimistic about the international outreach these days in particular.
Absolutely. So now we're going to start at the top as usual with our Yokozuna Terunofuji, and just like last time, now we actually have something to say about him.
This time we do.
He was 14-1, which was refreshing to see somebody not do a 12-3 for once. He was back in decent form. I mean, I don't want to say he looked shaky because a 14-1 is not shaky, but he wasn't Terunofuji who first became Yokozuna, so where's he at? Where's his conditioning, you think?
The wins were, well, some of them were completely just embarrassing the person he's fighting. But a couple of the wins, it felt like people were starting to like gain ground, particularly fighting the Sanyaku. When he fought then Kiribayama, now Kirishima, when he fought Daieisho, when he fought Kotonowaka, like those were people who were putting him through his paces, and sort of good news for the up and coming people. But for Terunofuji, who, you know, it's all too apparent that he's still being like held together. You know, you're sort of looking at him and you're like, I don't know how much more he's capable of improving the craft at this point, and more of it's just holding on.
When you look back at the Hakuho years, we just didn't know when it was going to be over for him. So you'd see a tournament where like he'd do a Zensho Yusho and then be out the next couple of tournaments. And you never knew like which tournament was going to be the end. And I think that's where we're at with Terunofuji.
Just starting to get there. I feel like every time there's going to be we hope he shows up.
Yeah.
And then if he shows up, we hope he's going to be the Yokozuna we want. I feel that a lot of our concerns with the surgery is that it was just gone.
Right. There'd be such a quick exit.
Yes. So.
Well, what's interesting about Yokozuna typically, and knock on wood that this never changes, usually you can tell with a Yokozuna in the first week what kind of shape he's in.
Yes.
Unlike other wrestlers where it's like they have a bad first week, good second week. Usually the Yokozuna, if he's good in the first week, he's good in the second week.
Yeah. And
so we'll know pretty early what kind of shape he's in.
And it feels like unless he just completely falls apart like a house of cards, like he keeps mentioning that 10 Yusho number. That is the number in his head.
That's what he wants.
So you can tell that is where his focus is, and that's good news for us because he's only 6,
right?
7? So we're gonna get
at least a year.
If he like in the scenario where he gets the 10 and then hangs up the Mawashi the next day, which probably isn't gonna be the case, we still got him for about a year.
Right. If all goes well, in sumo land. That'll be a very positive thing.
Yes.
So now we got to go to Takakeisho, Ozeki 1 East, up from Ozeki 1 West, 8 and 7. So he's not Kadoban anymore. We can take a deep breath. He stayed till the end of the tournament, so he didn't exactly get any extra rest. So we don't know what kind of shape he's in, because in every tournament, he doesn't do interviews. He doesn't show up to practice sessions. Nobody's ever talking about him until he shows up. He keeps everything very close. So we have no idea what kind of shape he's in. And there were some conversations out in the internet sumo world that we might have seen the strongest and best of Takakeisho already. And now we're in the post-Ozeki Takakeisho, who is going to be holding on for dear life to maintain his rank. Do you think we're there yet?
I do feel like his last Yokozuna bid was probably the last time he was going to get that. Love to be wrong. Love to see that rope on him. I think he deserves it. It's just a matter of I don't think he's capable of getting that anymore. So that being said, will he be able to hold Ozeki rank until he hangs it up? And that feels more in line with what his body will allow him to do than it would be with any sort of mental or spiritual issues.
Yeah, it's really come down to he's still somewhat young, but as time ticks away, he'll have less endurance to battle the pain.
I add 5 years to his age when I'm doing this kind of math.
Okay.
Just the way that, because of like what his body has been through. He had the neck issue. He has the knee issues. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Yeah.
Like he's got it all. So he's banged up.
And I'm sure his head is mush because he clashes head to head.
Yeah. So on his age, his tenure would imply he has longer. But you had mentioned this before, like you don't see him going far past 30. So
no, I really think we're gonna see I've got 30 in my head. Like Terunofuji's thrown that 10 Yusho. I've got 30 in my head as Takakeisho's retirement year.
Yeah.
Where is he at now? 27?
Find out. I'll click him. 96. So 27.
Okay, so that puts a 3-year. You said 5 years. Maybe I'd love it if you were right and not me.
Yeah. So when it comes to like you're doing the mental math on and this is true for all these like higher contact sports, that like there's a general vector on age versus performance versus power. And so Takakeisho's 27, but in my mind I'm like, you're about 32.
I got
you're
it.
over
Okay.
the hill.
Right.
And so in 3 years he'll be 35.
Right, and that would actually fit very well.
With the yes.
So this is Takakeisho in sumo years, kind of like how we have dog years and human years. Got it.
Exactly. We're not. It's so. I mean, it's just this is the way it is.
This is the way it is. Yeah.
For July specifically, it's like if he's at 75%. I feel like something like the way he had to clear Kadoban does not sit with him. Mm-hmm. So I see him just foot to the ground, slamming the gas pedal, and just crushing people in the first week.
I expect that too. I expect that he's going to come in just ready to fight.
Yeah, like whether or not his body's ready,
right.
Unfortunately.
Like, I think he's probably someone with a high pain tolerance, and he's just going to do what he's going to do until it's over.
Yeah. So
but that means we can never predict what he's actually going to do.
No, he's becoming increasingly almost sporadic. And it's weird because almost every time this happens, like it's a mental thing, it's a technique thing, the pressure's getting to you. But like for him, he's sort of just like, I'm revving this engine. If it falls out in the middle of the road, okay.
Well, I did my best. Yeah, that's his brand of sumo, right? Crash the car into the brick wall going 90 miles an hour.
He's telling the brick wall to get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, get out of my way because I'm coming. So, I think we're going to have like a Tochi no Shin type of exit for Takakeisho when it happens, where it's like, it'll just suddenly be that he drops out of Ozeki.
Yes.
And
So your question to the general public is, has the peak Takakeisho came and went? I'm wondering is he going to have the Tochi no Shin fade into the sunset, or is he going to do the Go Edo, I'm done?
That's a very interesting question.
That is the part that I don't have a bearing on.
Well, that Goedo, he's raising up some good talent.
Yeah, there's some.
We're gonna get to that.
Like for Goedo, he's just like, I'm not gonna not be Ozeki, and he just walked.
I really don't think I know Takakeisho well enough to know the answer.
I'm curious.
Wow.
I'm curious.
Hopefully we have to wait a while.
It will be several years before this even comes up. We're all speculating here.
At least 3.
At least 3.
Oh, I hope so. Speaking of someone who should have a much longer career than that, I'm going to knock on wood again every time I speak. We have a new wrestler of sorts, the new Ozeki Kirishima, who was Kiribayama. So he's up from Sekiwaki 1 East, 11-4. Okay, so Shin Ozeki, everybody's watching him. Everybody's got an opinion. He has he's got a lot to prove because he also appeared as Ozeki in Kakeru's retirement ceremony. So that puts even more eyes on him. And he's like forever cemented in that legendary moment. But there is the Ozeki curse of the first time you get up there. There's also all the celebrations and ceremonies, and he had some extra runs with Kakeru. So he's not going to have trained as much as everybody else. He hasn't gotten as much sleep as everyone else. But what's his endurance level like? Can he handle that and just be his regular self?
I think if he gets 8 wins, that is a massive victory.
Okay.
Considering like he's got like you had said, there's the parties, the retirement ceremonies, the expectations, the celebrations. He's got the name change. He's inheriting
a famous name.
Inheriting the famous name. Inheriting all. So like everything's on him. This is like some Hokuseiho level expectations.
Yeah.
And so like for him, if he just gets Kachikoshi, 8 wins, I feel like he's capable of a 10 double digits. But in terms of how do you culminate this, like you had said, recipe for struggle. 100% of his attention is in 30 places. So, get 8 wins. It's a good sign. And even if he just goes right into Kataban, do not worry. Do not worry. You need to get this tournament done with.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily worried if he goes to Kataban. However, I don't want to see it.
No, you don't want to see it.
We've had too much of the Kataban carousel for my liking. And I would love it if he just gets his 8 wins and we don't need to talk about it. Now, of course, beyond that would still be great. But I have to say, I started doing karate about a month ago, and now I finally understand this whole mantra about training and how missing training is a complete disaster. And I'm feeling for Kirishima. I missed 1 session, and I came back, and basically my sensei said I sucked. And it was the worst feeling in the world, but he was also right. 1 session and I sucked. Can you imagine the level, that these guys are at? Missing 1 session, what it does for you?
Yeah, I will say, these people are also in ridiculously good shape.
Yeah, they can rest on their laurels a little bit.
Well, it's more of the build-up process for them is going to be non-existent. I would feel like they just, as long as they're maintaining their body.
Right, you can't get too sloppy.
They can't get too sloppy, yeah. But like if he has a late night of hard late night of partying. I don't know why that was such a weird sentence.
Tongue twister.
Then these are the kind of people like they could be blackout drunk, just running all over the place till 2 a.m. Wake up in 5 hours and then they're just
ready to go.
They're just ready to go. So that the vigors of youth. I mean, this is any type of sport. Like you hear wrestling, you hear football, you hear to extent baseball or basketball. Any of those kinds of they've got it so in their muscle that they just know what they got to do. No matter what kind of coherence they have. I mean, that being said, he still has all that drinking and not training and all the pressure and the expectations. I am looking forward to Kirishima. Mm-hmm. I hope that it's going to be. Hope that we can get used to the name change quickly enough.
I will say that this name change is a little bit easier to deal with than the later on name change.
A little bit easier.
I can handle Kirishima. We'll get into the others later, but that's aside. Now, top rival and extremely angry Hoshoryu is up to Sekiwaki 1 East. He had an 11-4. 10-5 in March. Potential Ozeki candidate with 12 wins in July.
That's the magic 33.
But he might need a cup or a Yusho equivalent.
Yeah, so,
or beating Terunofuji thrown in there as an extra thing.
Yeah, so for Hoshoryu, and good news, by the way, that all three of these Sekiwaki are technically on a run right now. I would say in a perfect world, all three of them will be promoted. But realistically, that will not happen.
This is historic, I think, too. I think I read somewhere that it's only like the third time that's ever happened in all of sumo history. So this is a big deal.
Yeah, so for Hoshoryu, like mathematically, it's a 12. But as you had mentioned, there's two big problems. One, he needs to put dirt on the Yokozuna, or at least on the Ozeki. And if he gets a 12-3 and Terunofuji gets a 14-1, he gets a Zensho Yusho, they're going to look at him to be like, Ozeki doesn't work for second place.
Well, not only that, let's imagine a scenario where he loses to Takakeisho and Kirishima and Terunofuji and gets a 12-3.
That is the 12-3.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's the scenario.
That is exactly the
kind of thing.
He
could, in theory, beat Takakeisho and lose to someone else, but that's the scenario we're talking about.
So
they could turn him down.
I am seeing for Hoshoryu that they're going to go to his 12-3, and they're going to say, try us again in September.
Which then would be a shoo-in. Maybe.
It would lower it a little bit, and then Hoshoryu would know, that would be all he thinks about for July, August, and September.
Right, buckle down.
Buckle down. It's like that's the kind of thing like you put Terunofuji's face on the dartboard.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like you need to just, which he's capable of, almost to the point that it's a fault.
Well, the biggest issue with him is he has to tame the beast. He's almost like too fired up, and he makes mistakes. He gets. I don't want to say overconfident because you can't really know what's in a guy's head, but there is the appearance of an overconfidence to compensate, like almost like a manifestation. I'm going to will this battle, but that's not how sumo works. Like even if you do everything perfect, there could be this little pebble of salt and you fall. So he's almost got to just calm himself down and go to the basics and just do his sumo. He's a very talented guy. He's got to clear the cobwebs in his head a little bit.
Yeah, that is going to be the deciding factor for Hoshoryu in July, which is already hot and sweaty and chaotic.
Well, yeah, we got that factor.
Slipping around.
Slippy Otoshis.
Yep. If he can get a handle on that, maybe Ozeki.
So we have a cautious maybe.
Cautious maybe, I'd say.
Okay. So next we have Daieisho, Sekiwaki 1 West, so a little bit lower down than Hoshoryu, 10-5. Also a 12-3 with a Yusho equivalent in March. So he at least has that going for him. Yes. It puts him a little, rank-wise he's not above, but he has that in his favor for a promotion. And he's won before as well. So like they care about, past winning.
He has winning tenure.
Exactly. And tenure matters as well. The fact that he's a little bit more veteran. They factor all these little, variables in when they make their choices. But Daieisho also has the opposite. I mean, look at how he lost to Kiribayama, now Kirishima. He lost twice in a row with the same technique, and it wasn't like a hard-fought technique. It was like just a slip to the side. So that could hurt him. What are your prospects for Daieisho?
So for Daieisho, he sort of has like the opposite to Hoshoryu. Like Hoshoryu, if he beats Terunofuji, that's it. Who cares? He gets a 12-3 and he puts dirt on Terunofuji. Ozeki, fine. For Daieisho's beaten Terunofuji, but has not beaten Takakeisho or Kirishima.
Yeah.
So that's his Achilles heel. Now, because of the Yusho equivalent, I do feel like they may give him a little bit of a pass. Like if both Hoshoryu and Daieisho have the exact same records, 12-3, and they lose to the people up top, Hoshoryu may not get the nod. Daieisho, they.
Could you imagine that, where they have the same record and Daieisho gets promoted over him?
It's sort of it's
possible.
It's possible. I would say Daieisho may have a slight edge there, but at the same time, he does have these like here people he can't beat.
Right.
You can't have a list like that in Ozeki.
No, you can't. You have to be able to beat everybody at any given time. The thing though about Daieisho and everybody in general, they are looking to fill those Ozeki spots.
They are.
And Daieisho at least has been in it long enough, proven himself enough.
And yeah.
I mean, they did it for Mitakeumi, they did it for Shodai. Daieisho could be in that camp.
And Daieisho's improvements over the last year or so have been very tangible, have been very marked, and I feel like he's got the best chance.
Yeah.
Once we see that first week, I have a feeling we're gonna know who's really got the run going.
Right.
But like right now, looking at the top three, Daieisho, both in terms of having the Yusho already taken care of, that's always the hard part.
Yep. And
in terms of like the momentum and the number, so he's got the best chance of being Ozeki. So on paper, mm-hmm. However useless this may be, if one of these three people are going to get it, it will be Daieisho.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. All right. So next we have Wakamotoharu, Sekiwaki 2 West, maintains the same rank because there's really nowhere to go. 10-5. So this is sort of the thinning of the Sanyaku, and there has to be a balance with the Banzuke.
Yes.
Somebody's always sort of a casualty, so to speak. But when you're up this high, in a way, it doesn't matter. And especially if you're about to go on an Ozeki run, all you need is the spot.
Yes.
And if he just sort of demolishes for the next 2 weeks, it won't matter that he was in that spot.
It's so we do have a very nice, clean, and orderly Sanyaku this time around because everybody in Sekiwake is gunning to go up, and then everybody in Kamasubi is getting their stuff together to then be like, it's sort of like here are the planes on the runway taking off, and then here are the people like taxiing around waiting for the runways to be available, and like that's the clean split.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this.
It's finally here. I am so excited for this. So for Wakamotoharu, it is weird to have a 10-5 and then just retain rank. But the thing is that he would have been 2 East if there was not a need for the Banzuke balance. So for what he needs, mathematically, it's also 12 wins. So
that's so wild.
Him and Hoshoryu have the same number, but similar to Hoshoryu, I feel like they're going to look at the 33 wins and they're going to say, what else do you got for me?
Yeah, and I think what really hurt Wakamotoharu was the way he finished the last tournament. I mean, he looked really great. I had thought he might even win the whole tournament, minus Terunofuji. It was either Terunofuji or the next guy I thought could possibly be Wakamotoharu. He really slipped up at the end. And I think that hurt him a little bit in people's eyes. Like, he's going to have to put up 2 full weeks of excellent sumo in addition to the 12 wins, which effectively is the same thing. But, like, just a couple of bad losses at the end. Like, let's say he goes 12-0, and then it's just the last 3.
That might
it's one of those things where, he's got a little bit of a, I don't want to say a reckless style because he is peak technique. He knows how to pull off those techniques in a way that if you were showing sumo wrestlers how to do it, you would just say, watch Wakamotoharu. But the problem is you can lose so easily at the same time.
On
the knife
edge,
exactly.
On the edge, yeah.
So I think in some ways he had a better chance than Daieisho, minus the Yusho equivalent. But then at the end, he kind of got knocked down to Hoshoryu level.
Yeah. He needs to send the Sumo Association a clip of that Uchari he did against Hoshoryu. Or against
Hokuseiho.
Yeah, can't talk. Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, he just needs to do that. Just show that clip. Just send an email. Be like, for your consideration.
Yeah, like, here's my resume, and here's the video attached.
I still think about that.
I know.
It is so rare that you think about that one thing somebody did, and like it sticks with you this long in sumo.
It's like you said, like every tournament is completely fresh in your mind. If you remember anything specific from the last tournament, it was special.
Really? Yeah. So he's got the special potential, but does he have the execution?
Well, I think it's just a matter of, once again, this is such a minor thing, but it is, but it isn't. I think he needs to bulk up. Just think about how massive Terunofuji is.
Yeah.
The reason he wins most of his matches on bad knees.
Physical.
Yeah, he's a physical specimen. His upper body is so strong that his legs could be a puddle and he could still win a couple matches. Wakamotoharu needs to build that upper body strength, and I think things could really change for him.
Seemed to help for Kirishima.
Yeah, look at the difference. He starts lifting the weights like crazy. Not that I think he wasn't before, but I think he started to really focus on the upper body. And they were making a point of that in the Sumo Primetime video to say, look at what he's doing. And look at the difference. You need that upper body strength because things go wrong in the lower body. And they're always training the lower body in sumo. That is the main training in sumo, is the lower body, really, to prevent injuries and such.
Mm-hmm.
So bulk up a little bit. We'll see what happens. Next, we have Kotonowaka, Komusubi 1 East, up from Komusubi 1 West, 8-7. He needs to get into the double-digit wins. He's kind of skating along in this like safe zone, which we saw others do before, and then eventually lose their spot.
Hanging by, where he's slowly at least reaching the he belongs in Sanyaku level. I would say a couple more tournaments, and then he feels like a mainstay, but. You can only tread water for so long in Sanyaku.
Yep, we've seen so many wrestlers like just lose it.
Yeah, and if he's if he's having struggles, if there's a consistency issue or something like that, like he needs to stamp that out. He needs to get to the sumo to such a position where he can get double-digit wins.
Like no problem.
Or just like that needs to be the expectation of him.
Yeah,
double digits, and it's at Komusubi. That's a real tall order. It feels like for him right now.
Which is a shame because he really looks like a guy with immense potential that he's just not living up to.
Yet.
Yeah.
No, him younger.
Is he super young?
He's in his early 20s, I think.
I always get these two guys mixed up.
26.
Okay, so he's on the upper
Maybe
end.
not. Maybe not as young as I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe he was young when he came into the top division.
Well, that's what it is. The years are just sort of
I guess so.
flying by. Yeah, Kotonowaka needs to kind of get his act together. But Kirishima, I mean, he's on the older side, and he has done it.
He has done it.
And, Kotonowaka's already got this upper body that's pretty impressive, so...
He's a large guy.
No, we'll see. We'll see. He's on the cautiously optimistic list.
Optimistic, yeah. If we see another 8 or 9 wins, he's still figuring it out. He's still trying to get something going.
Pace.
If you see that 10, that's a sign. You perk up your head. You're like, oh, what's going on over here?
Yeah, you really need to see that 10 show up.
Yeah, you show me a 10, show me an 11.
Right.
The difference of those 3 wins.
The tone just changes.
Yeah.
So now we get to talk about the wild, crazy guy of sumo, Abi, Komusubi 1 West, up from Myogiryu 2 East, 8-7. The trickster slips into Sanyaku. He's been here before. But what are we seeing? What kind of sumo wrestler is Abi?
He's turning into this agent of chaos, which I'm starting to come around to it a little bit. I want the push sumo to be back. I can't help but feel that he wants the push sumo to be back. It's like you had said, Komusubi, this is where he was before, possibly where he belongs, although the way he's been fighting now has been really erratic.
Yeah.
And yeah, at Megashira 1 East, if you get an 8-7 and there's room for you, you got it.
Right. It wasn't such a hard sell.
Yep. And the Sanyaku issue, the bloated Sanyaku that we've had for nearly a year, is almost done resolving itself. Thankfully, by people going up more than people going down. But we've been kicking some stranglers out. We got the bouncer in here to clean the dance club up.
Yeah.
And if you look, I am thinking somebody's gonna get Ozeki out of this.
Okay.
Optimistically, nobody. It's not a guarantee, but you take one of those 3 names and you bump them up, then we're back to 4, and then it's nice and clean and orderly.
The way we want to see it.
The way we want to see it for Sanyaku.
But I kind of feel like I'm going to throw this out there and hope that he proves me wrong. I feel like Abi has shown us the best of what he has because something in him holds him back. I don't know if it's just he doesn't want to play it straight and you really need to play it straight in order to get success, or if it like almost like a boredom thing.
Maybe
like he feels like switching it up. I don't know what the reason is, but the Abi who came back from suspension was a different guy than this is like the old Abi.
There's a bit of regression. I feel like maybe he tried something new. He's just like, I'm going to try this new thing, and he hoped that he'd evolve, and the evolution wasn't to the level he wanted. So here comes the flailing. Here comes the how do I fix this? So optimistically, this means that it's a work in progress, and we're just sort of like, like we're watching that, like we're living in the house as it's being built.
Okay.
So this is the optimistic side. The pessimistic side, the downturn is that Abi's hit his ceiling.
Right.
And he can't get any better than this, and he can't figure out how to get better. So all we're gonna get out of him is this crazy madness.
Chiyoshoma Part 2 or something.
Which is not I wouldn't say it's a bad thing either way.
It's entertaining.
For the viewing audience, it's win-win.
Right. For his own career, he has his own expectations, but
certainly.
We certainly are not bored with an Abi match.
Oh, goodness no.
We might get mad at an Abi match, though.
A little bit of controversy,
He brings controversy with him.
Pour a little brandy in the coffee.
yeah, that's exactly it. Okay. So next we have Nishikigi, Maegashira 1 East, up from Maegashira 4 West, 9-6. He had a really strong week 2.
That week 2 is something else I remembered.
That was the one where he looked like a totally different guy.
Oh my goodness, he was just nobody could say no to him.
No.
There was no stopping him. It was just terrifying force.
He started the Takakeisho decline. He was the first one.
Him and Tsurugisho, like I felt like it's like they walk into a heavyweight boxing match, and they just knock the guy out, and they just walk away. You're like, who was that?
Yeah, was he on the card?
What do you think? Yeah, was this guy?
Somebody go follow him.
I know.
Should we call the police? He just robbed us.
Yeah. So if we get him and Tsurugisho, it's very similar. It's sort of just like, it was so out of left field. Welcome. You love seeing it. Nishikigi's a great guy. Like, if this is everything clicking for him, he may be the latest Sanyaku touching elder statesman. Mm-hmm. And as we were just mentioning, if there's a vacuum in the Sanyaku, he squeaks at 8-7, he's in there.
Right.
He's in there. Or maybe he just picks up where he left off in May and just goes on a tear.
You never know.
Yeah. Or, it strikes midnight and it turns into a pumpkin again.
Well, he's going to go through like Murderer's Row.
Oh, goodness.
And that's going to tell you something right away.
Right away, week 1. So I am very interested to watch his fights. Glad to see this super high ascension. Almost don't want to think about it too much. It reminds me of the Chiyoshoma rise that he got up to like rank 5, and we were all joking. We're just like, is everybody gonna stop him?
And then all of a sudden it was like, bam.
And then reality set in.
Right. We don't want to live in reality now.
Not yet. Not for him. Not yet.
Not yet. We got to suspend it for a little while. Next we have Tobizaru, Maegashira 1 West. Up from Maegashira 3 East, 8-7. He struggles, but he survives.
He does. It is. This is the guy. Yeah, this is the guy who you have, the barroom brawl. Like, he walks out of the bar, but, he's cut up a little bit. He's got a shiner.
Maybe a broken wrist.
A little broken wrist, got a little bandage on it the next time you see him. But he's in there. Like, he goes back to the bar every time.
Right. He goes back with that taped up wrist. He drinks another beer. He lives to fight another day.
He does. So he's in that cycle. So, the Tobizaru from 2 years ago, when we first saw him, he was never would have been capable of this.
No, we even said, is he an imposter?
Yeah, it did feel that way for a while. So if nothing else, the fact that I see Tobizaru in 1 West, and I'm just like, he earns that slot, he owns that slot, he is that slot. Mm-hmm. For that jump. Now, he did touch Sanyaku. Like, he in the way that you do it, you touch it, you say base, and then you have to leave.
Yep.
So if he wants to do more than that, he will need another gear.
And the question is, what is the other gear for Tobizaru? Like, you can give some guys some very concrete advice on, bulk up, get your footwork together. For Tobizaru, I don't know. Maybe there's just a little bit of a luck component.
Maybe a little bit. So he does And it is one of those things, like we'll go back to Ura. Well, I mean, we're not going to go talk about Ura, but like, sort of like Ura does not have that gear, but we're fine with it. We're just like, Ura doesn't care. Why should we? So I don't like, I feel like we're still trying to feel that out for Tobizaru. Yeah. Does Tobizaru want to be Ozeki? Does he care?
Is he just having fun?
Is he too busy having fun? Is he doing the monkey thing? I'm doing it in person. Nobody can see it.
It's perfect. Yeah, I wonder, if you were to actually honestly interview some of these guys and they could be completely blunt, would some of them tell you, like Tobizaru, no, I never wanted Ozeki. I just want to go out there and get some cheers. It is. Tells the truth. He said that.
He goes straight face. He's almost a little too modest, but there is that honesty in what he says, Ura.
Right.
And Tobizaru, he's a very fun, happy guy, but he will give the trying my all, want to gambarize kind of a thing.
Right. So, we'll have to see, but we'll be entertained by him regardless. His matches with Ura are always amazing. I see no reason why we wouldn't get an Ura-Tobizaru match again.
It's going to happen.
In fact, they're probably like salivating at the thought because they're going to sell a lot of tickets that day.
Oh, that's going to be a fun, that might be like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday match.
Yeah. I mean, those two, you're not going to forget those two.
Nope.
At least their matches. This is going to be something that lives long beyond their sumo careers. So next we have the ever insane, don't know how to classify Shodai, Myogiryu 2 East, down from Komusumi 2 East, 6-9. So he's doing his weird thing where some of his matches he looks so dominant, like, oh yeah, this guy's an Ozeki. And then at the end of the day, it all falls apart and he's kind of shrugged his shoulders. Yeah. There were more than a couple matches. Probably 6, but I have a feeling a couple of his wins were chaos without having to pull up the tape. Yeah.
But there are some times I look at Shodai, I'm just like, that's the Ozeki in there. That is what he did. And so it's very fun because in his struggle days, you almost never got that spark.
That's true.
But on the other hand, it is still a 6-9. There are a couple of those matches were like razor's edge thin, a couple of mono-es. So I feel it's one of those, you had mentioned a little bit of luck. Maybe it's 7-8.
Right.
So for Shodai, like on one hand, no stress, no problem. So there's, maybe he just turns it around. He's back in Sanyaku, but on the other hand, no stress, no motivation.
Right. It's like, what is the perfect balance of motivation for this guy?
Yeah.
Like Ozeki is too much. Sanyaku might be too much.
Maybe a little bit.
But maybe if he drops down in Myogiryu, it's like, oh, no. I don't want to be that low. Maybe that's like the perfect balance of we'll get, strong Shodai again. And he'll just win a Yusho.
Feels like when you have a new belt and you're just like, try this hole. And you're just like, nope, my pants are going to fall down. And then you pull it down a couple holes. You're just like, oh, now I can't breathe.
Right. You're like, I'm going to have to make a new hole.
You're just like, what? I need the new hole or...
I need to like either gain enough weight or lose enough weight.
You're just like, there's a little bit of transition going on there, or you get they have those belts that are just like the weave ones. So you just put your own hole in.
Oh yeah.
Shodai needs one of those.
That's what Shodai needs. I think you figured out his
the custom pressure belt.
Exactly, because without that, or even like an insulin pump, where you just have to like insert a little bit of inject a little bit of excitement in the right moment and take a little bit out when you're not ready. Shodai needs a hype man. Or something.
Yeah, that'd be something.
You just hire somebody to sit behind him and give him the appropriate motivation right before his match, and then leave.
No, you just have a tagger, and just have tagger on. Just some crotchety old man who just yells all the time.
You suck, Shodai.
More of that. More of that.
Who's this guy over here?
Live with your knees.
And then he's just gone. Something, Shodai, something. Next we go to Mitakeumi. It is quite interesting that they put these former Ozeki together in that pairing.
I love it when they pair a number east and west in a thematic way like this. This is one of my favorite things in the Banzuke, when you find these stories that are mirrored with each other.
Oh yeah. So he did look at the mirror too. 9 and 6.
I didn't even notice that.
Look at that. 6, 9 and 6. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful little thing they've put together here. So they're going in a different direction in a sense, But at the same time, they're exactly the same. But Mitakeumi has history in July. This is
the X Factor.
Yeah, this is his, tournament. And he seems to, I don't know, he might like the hot weather. That's something that people have commented on. But he has lost his way. Like Shodai was always lost. You know what I mean? But Mitakeumi wasn't. Mitakeumi is lost right now.
It's very lost. Yeah. But like for Shodai, his rank is going down, but you feel optimistic that he'll just come back up.
Right.
For Mitakeumi, he got to up in the rank, but you don't feel any hope for him getting better.
Yeah.
And then you have this whole, you go to Shodai, you're like, is he going to be motivated? Who cares? And then you go to Mitakeumi, you're like, hang on, this is July.
Right.
So there's a lot of weirdness going on between both of them. I would agree for you that for Mitakeumi, there is it's got to be mental. There's no other explanation.
Completely.
There could be maybe an injury, but like he fights too good to be injured.
Exactly. Like somebody who's injured, you can see it. Like when Tochinoshin, when he dropped out of Ozeki, you knew exactly why.
Yes.
You're like, his knees are shot.
They're gone.
He's lucky that he's hung in as long. You don't feel that way with Mitakeumi. There's a dude who also needs to hire someone to sit behind him. It could be the same guy.
Maybe.
But they might need to give different messages. I'm not sure which ones Mitakeumi needs to hear.
They need to have a few more drinks before you go to Mitakeumi.
Maybe he needs to relax a little bit. I don't know. But I really do think making it all the way up to Ozeki and then really believing in yourself and then losing it was just
it's a deep blow.
Yeah, like hurt him in a way that is hard to recover from. So who knows what the solution of that is? Because honestly, starting all over again, and if you already had motivation issues, how do you do it?
Yep.
I don't know if I could do it.
We can't all be Takayasu, unfortunately.
Yeah. There was only one Takayasu.
There's only one. I'm sorry, Mitakeumi. You are not Takayasu. You do not know how to rebuild yourself the way
Takayasu needs to sit behind Mitakeumi.
There it is.
Or whoever gives Takayasu motivational speeches. Like, that is who he needs to channel. Because there's nobody who can fail spectacularly and still have hope
come back.
And still keep doing it like Takayasu. So we'll see, Mitakeumi. We'll see. Midorifuji, Maegashira 3 East, down for Maegashira 1 West, 6 and 9. Being in a lower rank might help him get wins, but the small man sumo thing is falling apart. Him. Just like, that happened to Enho. I don't know if there's I don't want to say that he's injured, but is he beat up? Like to a point where when you're a small guy getting beat up, it's harder to take those hits.
Get clobbered a bit. You do slow down. Midorifuji's biggest problem is that ceiling for Sanyaku. It's like he needs to get some upper rank wins.
He needs to get bigger, unfortunately. And some guys aren't going to get bigger. Because here's the thing. He's a mouse with a lion brain. He's in a stable with Terunofuji and Takanosho and these big, massive presences, but he is just not them. So while he might have all the heart in the world, physically he cannot continue to compete without eventually getting pushed down, like Enho did. So where are we at? Is he capable of bouncing back, or have we already seen the decline?
I put him in the same boat as Tobizaru, that there's clearly they need something more. But I'm not willing to say that we're giving up on them.
Okay.
Finding that something more. Yeah. So so we have Ura all the way on the right. It's just like he's not gonna be Ozeki. He may not even get into Sanyaku. But he's perfectly fine. That's just the way it is. Like that gear that he needs will never be there.
Right.
And some of it is the knees, some of it's the mentality. Actually, a lot of it's the knees. But anyway, then you have Tobizaru, who it's just like he's still figuring it out. He may never figure it out, but there's a chance he does. You feel like for Tobizaru, like one breakout you show for him, Basho or Yusho, that'll solve it.
Yeah.
And then Tobizaru's back in there, and I would say that Midorifuji's somewhere in the middle. Because we're not fully convinced whether his issue is within his control.
Right.
Like there's not a want for talent or sparring or knowledge in his stable. They're Yokozuna's 2-3 deep, all so much veteran experience. Like anything he needs, he'll probably be able to get.
Right.
So it's a matter of, well, then there would be the matter of, is it like a mental thing? And for him, it's not. We see the way he fights. Everything, like you had said, a mouse with a lion's brain. Like, he wants to win. That's never the problem.
Right. It's just, is he capable?
Is he capable? Is it something that his body won't let him do? Is it something that he does need another 20 kilos in order to really do it? And that's
such a tough thing about sumo, because there's some guys who have the easiest time in the world gaining the weight, and they can perform with that weight. Some guys, even if they gain the weight, their sumo would go down. And I just can't picture a big Midorifuji, you know? But, you know, we'll have to see.
Yeah, if he can find a way to make the small man sumo work on the absolute best. And there have been the tiny Yokozunas. And usually though they were jacked, but that's,
like they have muscles on top of muscles.
But put a pin in that.
Yeah.
if he shows up with that Ishihara kind of build, then we're like, maybe onto something.
Right.
Or he bulks up, or he doesn't figure it out, and this is where he lives.
Right.
Which is still a lot better than before, and this is on the other side of that hernia disaster and all the injuries. So this is still a success story.
Right, because he could have been in Juryo for a long time with that hernia situation.
He could have, but he figured it out.
I don't even know how he figured that one out without surgery, but that's a whole other story.
And this sort of snakes back around a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about, particularly when the new up-and-comers, that it's like every few rungs up the Banzuke, you have a new problem. Yeah. And it is exponentially larger than the one you fought before. Like, you're just like, oh, I just need to get that salary. It's what everybody wants. And then you're just like, that's just the absolute beginning of your suffering.
Good job, like, getting past that hurdle to now get pummeled some more. So, yeah, we'll have to see with Midorifuji. It'll be a question mark for a while, I think.
For a little while.
Next, we have another question mark, unfortunately. Meisei, Megashira 3 West, up from 6 West, 8 and 7. He was doing fantastic. The best sumo of his life.
Gosh.
Catches the mid-tournament knee injury, because the knee injuries were catching.
It was a plague.
And then all of a sudden, it all falls apart. What do you discuss at that point? It's like there was the Meisei who was healthy, and now there's the Meisei with the handicap. So
I want to just throw Meisei in there as soon as we can. I'll just skip the lower divisions.
Yeah.
The first match is going to be Meisei's at the beginning of the day. I need to know this as soon as physically possible.
Right.
Because the way everything clicked for him pre-knees was like, that was exactly the type of sumo that Meisei needed to excel.
It's like you always say about, like, can they figure it out? Can they put it together? Meisei did it.
He did. And again, it's just, once you hit that, you're just like, okay, if he can do this every time, he's Ozeki.
Right.
It felt that way, that energy, and then...
And that's unfortunately what always happens, You get really excited about a guy, and one of these stupid injuries happen.
It's so rough. So it is all, like, if his knees are there for him, if he's able to shake it off, then watch out, because he's going to outwork you to death.
Yeah, he has something to make up for because of that knee, if he can.
I mean, even if he's at, like, 80%, I still feel he's going to do fine. Not as good as it felt like
he was headed.
It was like, there's a parachute on the back of that car now, but he's still going fast.
Right. He did win a special prize last time
for beating the Yokozuna.
That's right. Okay. So there's a little bit of motivation there too.
He was the one in Terunofuji's 14-1.
Right.
And it was not a fluke that he beat him. He outworked. He just dragged him around the ring.
Which just shows you, like, what potential was possible.
Oh,
I really thought we were going to see him at the end. He had already beaten the Yokozuna. I thought we were going to get a really good challenge for the Yusho, and then the stupid knee crap.
Better knees for July. Better knees
for July. Maybe all the slipping around is going to help people. Although that sounds like it's going to make everything worse for knees. But I digress. Maybe you won't have as strong of a tachi eye.
Everybody's a little scared, so they're a little less, like 90% power.
Exactly. So 90% power might be good for the knees. We'll have to say. So next we have Asanoyama. Gets the big jump you would expect, but maybe not as big as I expected. He's up from Megashira 14 East to Megashira 4 East, 12 and 3. So he's almost where he's supposed to be. You know, he needs to go back to Sanyaku at a bare minimum. But the irony of a 12-3 was a Yusho win for months and months and months. And when he finally comes back, it's a consolation prize.
Yep. It's a thanks for playing.
It's a thanks for playing. It just tells you we've gone full circle from when he got dropped down to now that he's back.
He's back.
And I am still not convinced by this man.
Yeah. So July is now the preview show for the Asanoyama video of is he ready to come back? And so he came back to Juryo. He's doing well in Juryo. It's like he should have done better. Just whatever, comes back. He's in the top division. Gets a 12-3 at a low rank, which he should have. We're just okay, whatever. It's like now he's fighting the very best. He's gonna be in there with Terunofuji. He's gonna be in there with the other Ozeki. He's gonna be in there with the former Ozeki because it was him and Shodai and Takakeisho. He's gonna fight all those people. These are the fights that we want to see.
Right, that's the real test.
That's the real test, and this is the preview because we will know at the end of July how he's doing.
Right.
If he does another 12-3, optimistic, then he's going to be back into Sanyaku, and then everybody's going to be like, okay, he's on his way back up. He's going to be back to Ozeki. He gets anything less than double-digit wins, we're like, ooh.
We're down on him.
That means that the pressure, the nerves, starting to clamp on him again.
You can see those nerves in even Juryo matches. He could have won the whole Juryo thing, and
it's a weird thing because down below, it is that sort of that thankless job. It's just Asanoyama could have got a Zensho Yusho, and what would they have said to him? Of course you did.
You're supposed to.
You're supposed exactly. So the expectation is that he wins.
Good point.
That is a no-win situation for Asanoyama. If he wins, then everybody ignores it. So then he has to be perfect. So that kind of a pressure, even all the way down there. That's why he got the 12-3. That's why he lost. I think it was to Tsurugisho. Somebody, a surprise loss on him.
He lost to Oho.
No, he lost.
That was a couple tournaments
ago. That was amazing, by the way. So now he's fighting the fights that people aren't going to go to him and say, well, you're supposed to win this. They're going to go to him and say, are you up for it?
So you're almost suggesting, whether you're consciously suggesting it or not, that the higher he rises, the less pressure he has.
A little paradoxical. Well, here, this is why I say it's the preview. Because right here is he's high up enough so that he's getting the real fights, air quotes, but low enough so that if he is having some sort of a pressure issue, that he can fall back on beating up Onosho and Meisei and Midorifuji. These are the people who, finger quotes, shouldn't be giving him a problem, and that's going to be even greater if they are. This is where we're going to figure out where he is.
This could be a make or break tournament for him. It could be a nice standard issue Asanoyama, or it could be a disaster.
This is where we're up until now. His wins, his losses, they were almost throwaway.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, he loses due to nerves or whatever. Oh, he gets the Yusho. Oh, he does it. Who cares? Now we're getting, this is the real litmus test.
Yikes.
This is the real, okay, how you doing, buddy?
Uh-huh.
And this is make or break is maybe extreme, but that kind of mentality of how well he does in July is going to tell us how well he's going to fare for the rest of the year or the rest of his career even, which would be the more make or break dire nature of how we can hinge this.
Well, we really are talking about his career though at this point. He lost out on 2 years. That's eternity in sumo.
Yes.
So we really are talking about the longevity of his career based on this tournament. And if he just does baseline, we're right back at the beginning. But if he has a complete disaster, that's a big problem. If he does really well, he still isn't going to get that pat on the back. So he has more to lose than to gain still.
We're almost to the point where it's his glory.
Yeah.
This is why it's the preview, because we're almost there. We're going to get enough to get that opinion.
Right.
But maybe not enough to know for certain.
Whew. I'm feeling the pressure myself now after all that.
Well, This is what I've been waiting for this whole time, because everybody, like, he comes back in the lower divisions and everybody's just like, oh, how is he gonna do? I'm just like, why do we care?
We don't.
I don't care.
No.
So it's like, call me when he's at the top.
Exactly.
And then finally the phone's ringing.
And then even when he's down at the very bottom, you're kind of like, nah, I'm still bored.
Well, what do you do?
Wait, he used to be Ozeki. Come on.
He's gonna throw around some 17-year-old kid or some 50-year-old guy,
Right.
and there's some random guy who pulled a random who got a random win off him. He just slipped one day. He just
Right. It's like so inconsequential.
So who cares, guys? Come on, I'm exhausted.
Oh boy. Well, we will see. That we'll be keeping a very close eye on Asanoyama.
Very close, very fun.
Like we actually care now.
Well, this is the real stuff.
The real stuff.
The real stuff. We're not going to discard these results.
Right. So next we have Ura, Maegashira 4 West. We've talked about him a lot already. Down from Maegashira 4 East, 7 and 8. So they didn't really punish him too much. This is a good place for him because he gets the good matches, but he's not going to get destroyed, presumably.
Presumably.
I mean, that whole 7 and 8 shows you that. But he's always on the edge of like having a disaster.
On the cusp. Like, I think he's gotten up to like 2 before.
And that was when he got knocked
like all the way down. So similar to Asanoyama, like he's going to get the good fights, but then he's going to get some of the easier fights for somebody
give him
of
a
this
little
caliber.
bit of a break.
So that's hopefully it'll counterbalance,
He's going to fight Asanoyama.
He's going to fight Asanoyama. He's going to fight Terunofuji. He's going to fight all of the Ozeki.
We're going to see some Matrixy stuff.
So, it's going to be more of what we love out of him. And around here, it means that, like, if he does well, it's not going to be too well. So he's not going to go on a tear, which would then knock him down in September.
Right.
And if he does badly, it's not going to be too badly, which means that he'll be, maybe 5, 6, and it'll be, maybe we'll lose another Yokozuna fight for a tournament, then he'll be back up.
He's like the only guy where you're like not rooting for him to do too well.
A little, like, we don't want him to go fly too close to the sun here.
But at the same time, you don't want him to do too bad. You want him to stay 8 and 7,
right
7
here,
and 8.
Right here. Just put a little bit of fear. We talk about how Kotonowaka needs those 10 wins. You look at Ura, you're just like, all right, is this going to be your 9 and 6 today, buddy?
7 and 8 might be the best for him because
it's a little bit.
8 and 7, there's always the chance of getting promoted too high.
A little over promoted, yeah. With the 7 and 8, maybe they'll just leave him be.
Yeah, like just hold his place. 4, just stay at 4 for the rest of your career.
4, that's a perfect number.
If only you could buy your way into that or something, I'd like to put all my money on 4.
4.
Because most sumo wrestlers would not want to stay at the exact same rank. But we are sure to have a lot of fun with him as long as his knees hold up, as long as he's in good, good-ish physical condition. He's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy it every time he pops up. And, we're golden for another tournament. We have another Ura tournament.
Got more Ura, no matter what happens this tournament.
Yep, at least we can look forward to Ura. So next we have Hiradoumi. I always struggle saying his name. Maegashira 5 East, up from 9 West, 9 and 6. So he's climbing up to his highest ranks.
This is career high.
He's now going to be taking on guys he has not fought before. This is, once again, here's a real test for him. So, is this the bad Basho? Is this...
So here's the thing. Like, there's the budding Hiradoumi fan who's just like, now's his time to really show him. And then there's a little bit of the realism coming in. I'm just like, man, he is... So he's going to have double digits in this tournament. I don't know if that's going to be a win or a loss.
Whoa.
But he's not. There's going to be no 8 and 7 nonsense.
Okay, so you're predicting disaster or victory.
It's going to be one or the other. Like, he's going to have his breakout moment. Like, he's just going to be on a jetpack to the stars. Or, like, every single person's going to look at him and be like, not yet, kid. It's going to be...
Poor guy.
It's going to be black or white. And I feel like he's game for it. Like, I feel like he's always brimming with the sumo spirit.
Right, he's like, just challenge me.
So for him, like if he gets to double digit wins, he's like, yeah, I made it. And if he gets to double digit losses, he'll be like, I'll be back.
I'll have to fight even harder next time.
He is that guy.
It's very I have no feel. one way or the other.
It's gonna be an extreme. It'll be great to watch his fights. Because it is one of those things, like, because it is if the people up top have a beat on him, then he's dead to rights and he hasn't even stepped in the ring. But if he shows up and Mitakeumi sort of just like, I don't know what to feel about this guy, he goes up there and Midorifuji tries some tricks, but he's wise to it. Like there's a little bit.
I'll tell you, I need to figure out how to do YouTube shorts. Because I'd love to take all these like predictions that you have and put them into a short. And if you're either spectacularly wrong or spectacularly right, the short will be great.
Yeah.
So this is one that I'm going to file away in my mind if I figure out how to make these shorts. That if Hiradoumi goes like 12-3, I'm posting it. Like this is John predicted this.
No, have him be 8-7. I'm serious. It's gonna be double digit either way. 8-7.
Yeah, exactly. If I put that up,
sad trombone.
You're like John was wrong.
John was wrong again.
Okay, I'm making this happen because then you can have more content and it'll be hilarious.
The little best ofs.
Exactly. So next we have Onosho, Maegashira 5 West, up from 9 East, 8-7. So this is a man coming back from knee injury prior to this tournament.
Yes.
And, if he's physically back up to where he was, he's got all this power and all this ability to shoot upwards. But we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. So it's still, Onosho is still Onosho. So,
right.
There's only so much optimism it'll carry you the way. But he was, like, the way he was fighting, we're like, man, he's injured and he's fighting this well.
Yeah.
With the crispness. The way
it almost gave him more power in a way.
It was weird. Like, it's just like, should we tap your ankles every time you start fighting? Because
right.
he's good. Not actually. But, so, it's sort of, that's the thing. It's like, we're going into July, and it's just like, was he just struggling and things just happened to work? Did he figure things out and the knees got in the way? Or, like, during rehab, did something just click?
I almost wonder if... Because Onosho's always had that chaotic energy. I almost wonder with the injury, he had to focus the outputting of his power so much more. Like, he had to be perfect. He couldn't afford to do his flailiness. And that almost, like, sort of focused him. So there's a potential here if it taught him something about where he needs to be, because it's like training with weights.
Exactly.
That's how I saw it. It's like training with weights on. Now the weights come off. Has he learned something from that?
This is what I am hoping. This is why I'm looking at Onosho and I'm like, if he's got a fresh pair of knees, because July is a safety place for all knees.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be,
guys. We've had our knee plague.
We can't handle anymore.
Everybody needs their knee vaccines.
Exactly. When are those coming out?
So if this is Onosho, just like taking the weights off and then just going nuts, that's a pretty clean 10-5.
Yeah, because I feel like I need to be the ambassador for Push Sumo since so many people do not like Push Sumo. I'm going to lean in and just root for every pusher thruster.
All of them,
I want every single one of them to be Yokozuna, and that's the future of sumo. And I'm being a little facetious, but at the same time, I got to root for my pusher thrusters because they get a bad rap.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Onosho be able to fine tune.
He's another we'll know in the first week.
Yes, he is a first week guy.
He's a first week guy because of the momentum, because of the knees.
Right.
And if he goes,
it only declines.
If he goes into week 2 with an early Kachikoshi, this is a good sign.
Yes. So we're going to be very excited on that day 1. Next, we have Hokuseiho, Maegashira 6 East, up from Maegashira 11 East with an 8-7. That is a huge jump.
So there was a lot of people going up and a lot of people going down. So we had another like Banzuke vacuum. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at that 8-7 and I'm looking at that 5 ranking jump. I'm like, guys, come on, what's going?
There was a backroom conversation.
I was like, this is very sketch. And also like this came off of them over promoting Kinbozan, and then Kinbozan got a slap down.
Well, so, maybe that's why they gave it to him. Like, it's your chance now, kid.
Yeah, I was just like, is this a like? I almost wonder who paid them off. This is what I'm thinking about. Did they go to him and be like, put him higher up? I think he's ready for it. Or did like his rivals go and be like, over promote him? I want him to eat dirt.
Right. I just feel like Hakuho made a call.
Might be.
You know, but
Maybe.
no, but there. Let's be less controversial for a moment. For a moment, Hokuseiho looked really good at first. He was looking very strong in week 1, and then he did the fall apart in week 2. So there might have been some leftover hype, and they want it.
Yeah, he earned the 8 and 7, and he did, as we had mentioned before. Like, the quality of his sumo was surprising.
It was much better than his previous tournament. So he did improve.
He's getting it together. So we're not a little bit more seriously. There is some credence in that over promotion, but
and that Uchari was an unfortunate loss.
Unfortunate loss for him. Here's the thing, though. If you're at Megashira 6 East, if you're not ready,
you're screwed.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Goodbye. So we're all about to find out the medal.
This is Dad throwing the kid in the deep end.
This is this is what happened to Kinbozan.
Yeah.
We're looking at him and just like, you're a little high up there, buddy, and then the 4 and 11 happened. So This is also what's happening to Hiradoumi. We're like, oh, you really think you're ready for the big leagues there?
And the thing about Hokuseiho is, just personality-wise, he doesn't seem to have the same grit that Hiradoumi has.
There's a calmness to his sumo,
right? Which maybe that's not a bad thing. But
it
doesn't translate to.
Yeah, maybe calmness is also not urgent.
True.
Or maybe calmness is going to help him deal with the titanic pressure putting on him.
Maybe.
Also, maybe Hokuseiho is going to find himself not being talked about that much because of other people, which may do him a world of favor because that certainly helped him when he started out.
Oh, no one's going to be talking about him because they're all going to be talking about Ochi, the former Ochi. But, Hokuseiho has a lot of things to battle through. That height is an advantage and a disadvantage. It's an advantage in that he can literally grab you from behind. He can just lean over you, grab the back of your mawashi, and do whatever with you. The problem is he doesn't do whatever. He just grabs and he's like, oh, now what do I do?
Yeah, he needs the next step.
He needs some work.
He's in a weird simultaneously favored child and underdog situation, which is some part of my brain still has trouble parsing this. Because we're talking about, he sort of got over-promoted. Oh, he's the first protege of Hakuho to come up. And then at the same time, it's just like, everybody's talking about Kinbozan. Everybody's talking about Hakuoho. And he's like, who is this guy? It's
yeah, he's
how is it how are both true?
Right, he lost his shine, but he's still the guy in the exact same breath. I don't know.
But whatever this anomaly is, he has 15 days of sumo to prove the doubters wrong.
Right. And he could. And if he proves us all wrong spectacularly, good for him.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he surprised us before.
Yes.
I am willing to bet I can be surprised again.
He's young enough that he should be full of surprises, unlike some guys where they've sort of settled in and you're like,
oh, I don't know.
Right. So surprise us so I can chop this up into a short and make fun of us, for being stupid. So speaking of someone who surprises us but not in a good way, that would be Oho. Maegashira 6 West, up from Maegashira 16 West, 11 and 4. Okay, so perhaps a deserved promotion, but at the same time, it's like this has happened before and Oho failed.
Crumbled like graham crackers.
Yeah. So, I don't know if this was a smart move.
Well, I will. It did feel like it was all figured out. But I felt like I said this before. You know how it is. Boy cries wolf.
Right.
So on this one, I'm going to say it's just like Oho is perfectly capable of this rank and more if he can figure out what the hell's going on in that head of his.
Of course. He has the talent. He hasn't done it yet.
Yeah. There is no doubt he is capable of this rank.
Now, he's still young, right? He's still super young, not 26.
Now I don't know anymore. Kotonowaka threw me off. Yeah, he is 23.
Okay, so maybe we're being a little hard. A little, though.
He's got, him and Hoshoryu, it's very much give them time. They'll get there. And it's a little weird for him because, the new shine, You know how there's like that factory smell on the new plastic toy? Like that's fading off now.
Yeah, like people have kind of forgotten about
So you
him.
forget that it's a new toy. You forget
Right.
that. You forget that it's basically as fresh. as
It's like, aren't you 28 already? Aren't you about to retire?
No, not him.
You stink. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
He needs the motivation, though. Hey, remember
Yeah.
when we bad talked Onosho and he got sick of it and started doing well?
Exactly. That's sort of the way we work is we say really bad stuff in hopes that you'll actually do so great that we look like jerks.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
So for some people, we give them our full support. For some people, we're a little bit cautious, and then for some people, they need a little tough love.
Right.
They just they're too complacent. They need to get put on the road.
Right.
So we will do our part. That's helping Oho's success.
Yes, I'm sure that Oho listens every time we come on because we are like so valuable in the sumo world, you know?
You just imagine him listening to it, somehow knowing how English sounds. He's just like, they said, what about me?
They probably be like, wow, this is the jerkiest channel on YouTube. Who let these guys get in front of a mic?
Goodness.
That's how I feel sometimes.
They'll come first. But as we always say, like the best way to shut us up is to just go and do well.
Right. And then we'll chop it up into a short, put it out there and say, we suck. We are stupid.
Look how good we are at this.
Exactly. So now we have Mr. Takayasu, Mr. Papayasu, Mr. Cuddly Bear, all the different names we have for him. Maegashira 7 East, down from Maegashira 2 East, 3, 3, and 9. So he came back, even though he was out. It didn't do him a lot of good. I mean, he did squeak a win here and there. But, the sun is setting on Takayasu just simply because he's running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there in age. The injuries have got to be just piling on top of piling after piling. The failures, the absolute collapses have been mounting. And yet this man still gets up there every day, still smiles, still trains super, super hard, which once again I said I now understand the importance of training. But will he run out of time or is he going to squeak by with this Yusho?
He needs to stop getting injured.
Yeah, the injuries are killing him.
Like this far down, like I feel like this is about as low as he can get without him just passively getting wins.
Yeah.
Like if he gets to like 9, 10, if he's down there, it's just like he's just gonna get double-digit wins accidentally.
Right.
So this is about as far down as he's going to get for us to be like still getting some good fights out of him, and also pretty safe way to come back up. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go on my injured fighting tirade because we did that last time.
That's done for now.
That's yesterday's news. So like for July, if he is at like 80%, he's going to thrash down here. He's in range of your Kotoekos, your Myogiryus, people like they're going to wither under his power.
Right, he could potentially be in the Yusho conversation and then start to get the tougher guys, and then we'll see where he's at.
Then history maybe will probably repeat itself.
Probably. Unfortunately.
But at this rank, we should expect some success. We hope that he shows up not injured. It was a stroke of bad luck, if I remember correctly. Like he got injured like the day of, like on day one.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was something chronic. He just
did the wrong thing in practice.
So he doesn't do the wrong thing. He just stays limbers, hydrates in the summer heat.
Oh, I know, right? Well, we'll have to see. It's hard to talk about poor Takayasu.
These days it can get rough.
Tamawashi, Maegashira 7 West, maintains Maegashira 7 West, 7 and 8. So he's holding. He had the injury. I think he's slowly coming back from that. Mm-hmm. He is the oldest man in the top division. So, these injuries are going to be a problem at some point. But he went an awful long time without any serious injuries.
So this is...
We'll see.
The fact that he's got the 7 and 8 that he's riding the ship is a good sign. It means that he's recovering. He's bouncing back from it. We hope that it's him launching people into the crowds in July instead of the other way around.
Yeah, he was getting tossed around a little bit.
So the big thing for his longevity is going to be when he has that pivot point that he starts climbing back upwards.
Yeah.
Because for somebody in the veteran status, once they get an injury like that, sometimes you can just sort of kneecap them.
Right.
And they're, they lose a portion of themselves that they kind of needed.
Right, that they can never fully get back.
Never fully get it back. So
it's like chopping down the tree a little bit.
A little bit. So if Tamawashi was able to sort of pull through that, I can see him making a run back again. If he's sort of just gonna be down a peg for forever, then
he's just gonna hang out around.
He's just gonna hang out. He's gonna unfortunately get demoted to a regular veteran.
Right, and then just sort of. I mean, he outlasted everyone as it is.
Pretty much.
I mean, my goodness, I feel like he's already accomplished enough, and now this is just bonus time, because he's won 2 Yusho. He's older than everybody else. He's still staying up at 7 after being injured.
Got to Sanyaku.
Yeah, so I mean, really, it's just bonus time with Tamawashi. So, I hope for good things. Next, we have another veteran, Sadanoumi, Maegashira 8 East, also maintains rank, 7 and 8. He's slowing down a lot more, I think. He's he's going to be the veteran on the watch list, I think.
I think he's still at least he has enough to not be on the watch list. But okay. The dark horse Sadanoumi, the making eyes at Sanyaku Sadanoumi, it feels like those days are getting behind this. Mm-hmm. So like where with Tamawashi, we're like, if he shakes those injuries off, we're like, he'll probably make another run at it. I think for Sadanoumi, the way his sumo is trending, I feel like it's sort of the upper ranks are beyond his grasp these days.
Yeah. And a lot of his peers have retired at this point. Mm-hmm. So like he's just kind of hanging on for dear life.
Hanging on, being a game opponent. It's that typical like that Okinomi. We were mentioned before, like Ikioi and Yoshikaze in their later years, that they were sort of like they're still strong. You give on a good day they'll still put anybody on their backs, but
right, even if it just takes a little stamina out of the top guy or something. Yeah,
well, getting that trend from him. But July is another opportunity to sort of kick that second, third, fourth, fifth win that sometimes they'll do.
Right. So, maybe with everybody slipping around, we can have lots of surprises.
A little bit of chaos. It's still that kind of basho.
It is. I don't know what the official nickname for July is, but, if March is the stormy basho, maybe July is the slippery basho.
A little bit of heat.
Next, we have Nishikifuji, Maegashira 8 West, down from Maegashira 3 West, 3 and 12. So we have another small man, Fuji, who is struggling, but he's going on a free fall right now.
Yeah. He did get demoted, like his stable master is still in charge, though. Good for him.
Yeah, there must be some favors left.
Just a few.
Yeah, but I mean, it's at this point, it's like it's only a matter of time before there's a complete fall if he does not turn it around. Yeah,
it's interesting to see Nishikifuji and Midorifuji compared next to each other, because there was at one point that looked like they were just neck and neck. They were feeding off each other's energy.
Right, and the positive end.
They're surging, and then sort of Midorifuji falters, but then like he claws down. Like he stems the bleeding, he sort of stops the release, and he's keep going back up. Now, Nishikifuji did have some issues, but he does also seem like his timing is running off. It seems like the things that were working before aren't really working.
That might be, a bad recovery. Like sometimes when you're recovering from an injury, you never figure out the way your body moves. Maybe. Or, just you forget what it felt like to have success.
Yeah. So he's, like if he is just being held back by whatever nerves and the scandals and all that other stuff we talked about, then, this should be low enough that if he has the same amount of potential that he did when he came in, and he looked really damn good when he broke into the top division, he should start turning it around right now.
Right.
If he still has some problems, if there's still some nags or injuries, or maybe he needs to evolve his game a little bit and he's been treading water.
Any doubts,
like he's not going to do well here either, because he's too high up for a doubter.
Right. They really gave him some faith in the sense
this was the, we know you're better than this, now let us know.
Right. So they're giving him an opportunity, and they're not going to be so friendly the next time. So I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I'm cautiously optimistic that we're gonna get at least a 7 and 8.
Yeah, well, I still remember there was that one time he did a throw, and I'm like, he's Terunofuji at half the size.
Yeah.
Just frame by frame that throw. It still comes back to me. I'm like, that kind of raw talent and technique, it just like he's going places. But now he's in the world of mystery.
Those injuries, man. I shake my fist at them. So next we have this guy's in worse shape than Nishikifuji. Takanosho, Maegashira 9 East, down from 8 West, 7 and 8. So he's now doing the hold in the mid Maegashira versus, career Sanyaku. He just, I don't know what the problem is, but he looks like a shell of a man.
It has to be beyond injury at this point, or an injury so bad that he shouldn't be fighting.
Right.
That
he'll never talk about.
That he won't talk about, that he doesn't wear bandage. Well, might have been a bandage on a foot.
Maybe, but you don't see the bandages.
Yeah.
So either.
So I don't. I'd have to go back and look, but.
Or like a chronic health condition like Terunofuji was going through.
I don't know.
There's something wrong.
Like it's like at this point he should have pulled himself out of this tailspin, but he's still here.
Yep.
He's still here. Just something going on. So honestly at this point it's just is he coming back? And I don't know.
Right.
Will he be back?
This is almost, not to be too negative, but almost like an Ishiura situation where it's maybe he's going to be almost done.
Yeah. It's been too long.
Yeah.
You know how it is? Back in the day, you'd go out play. It's dark out. Your mom's just like, come on home, and then come home. And then it's nighttime. It's just at what point do we go out into the woods and look for him?
Right, exactly.
When are we doing this?
Yeah, we're just kind of tapping our fingers okay, it's time.
It's time. It should be. It's pitch black out. There's no. We told you to be home by sundown. There's no sun left. Where are you at?
Right, exactly. And there is no cell phone. No. I feel like it's got to be somewhat of a depressing stable where Takakeisho and Takanosho are, because the two of them are having, simultaneous struggles where things are just not going right.
Well, you still got Nozeki in the stable, though. I mean,
of course. But I just feel like it's
a lot of pressure in that stable, though.
I almost feel like the Terunofuji stable's got a lot more life in it than the. I don't even know which stable Takakeisho's in anymore because it's changed a bunch of times.
Let's go look at these people. We've got Taka Kento on the way up. These two guys, and then some lower level people hanging out.
Yeah. Does this tell you who the Oyakata is?
Tokiwayama stable.
Yeah, see, things have changed so much since Takakeisho came in. I can't even keep track of it. And I don't feel that way about a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah, well, this is the place where the Taka people got transported to when that broke.
But then there was a different stable master, like a temporary one. And now there's a different one, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Might have been a different...
Somebody listening who knows the details, please put it in the comment section to inform us, because it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, I feel like the Taka thing, at least that whole thing is since blown over. Then there was a whole Takanoya thing.
Well, and then there was Taka Genji and Taka... Yep. There's been a lot of Taka problems. So, you can almost feel like maybe it's just...
Yeah,
maybe there's just baggage that's come from the very beginning, and it's just hard to...
We're still working through it.
Yeah, could still be working through it. I don't know. Sorry, Takanosho. We hope you come home. That's all we can say.
That's all we can say. Come home.
Please come home. We'll leave the light on. Next, we have Hokutofuji, another lost man, but for different reasons. He is Maegashira 9 West, down from Maegashira 7 East, 6 and 9. This has been a slow go for him, and it's obviously physical. It's obviously he had the most rough and tumble type of sumo that every time he battles, just a little bit more gets taken out.
Also, I do feel like he's like the poster boy for got a big injury and then you were never the same since. Mm-hmm. This is that's his deal. Nothing's been working fine since that leg injury.
Yeah.
So...
He's just keeping his career going.
He's hanging on. There's been no collapse. There's been no, like, outside of him having to go Kyujo for the injury, there's been nothing further.
Right.
So optimistically, he'll be able to at least hold his own
for a while. But there's no sign of anything. But there's no Hokutofuji Yusho.
No.
That
Sadly,
we had hoped for such a long time.
Sadly, no. I'll still send the message after day 3 though. That's not gonna stop me.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got some pretty loyal fans that draw cool pictures of him and stuff.
Yeah, oh man, I laughed at that when I saw it.
You know, so he's just going to be a character guy.
Yep.
That someday, you know, hopefully he'll be remembered for his
the Psyduck.
Yeah, the Psyduck. Next we have Kinbozan, Megashire 10 East down from Megashire 5 East. We've spoken about him a little bit already. 4-11. So he got a crash of reality when he got over promoted, and I guess he got kind of dressed down at the stable in front of a bunch of people for not training enough or whatever it was. So he's kind of taken the 1-2 punch between the embarrassment and the physicality of it. I wonder what kind of, like, this is the type of stuff that happens that you see what kind of wrestler what he's really made out of when he's got to dig really deep.
I feel like this is part of the process. A lot of the people, like, they come up, they get, like, they'll have that moment of just, like, slap down. It's just like, you don't belong here. And then it's like, it's up to you to build yourself back up and then just sort of push them back and be like, I belong here. Look at this. So he's just, I'm looking at this as like, this is the path along the journey that you take. And
pretty standard fare.
Yeah. So to your point, it is up to Kinbozan to rebuild himself, to continue to evolve, to answer the call,
to not fall apart,
to not do a Koto Shoho and sort of just fall into Juryo for a year.
Yeah.
And
especially when you were so hyped.
So hyped, the new hotness. So I still feel like plenty of opportunity, plenty of potential, and knocked back down to a rank where he should be fine.
Right.
So even if he is sort of licking his wounds a little bit, like he shouldn't have a collapse.
Well, yeah, the best cure for a disaster is just to win.
Yep. So
if he gets down here and he wins 10, it's all forgotten. It's all in the past. Who cares?
No one will remember it.
But he's just got to plow forward through the muck.
I am optimistic for at least Akachikoshi, for him to at least stop the fall.
I expect that. I expect 8-7 or 7-8 from him because I do think that he got stung pretty hard in both ways. And because he's new and he's young, it might take a little time to work through all those issues, but I don't expect to see a collapse.
No collapse.
Yeah.
I feel like we're safe. We shouldn't.
Okay.
July, we will know, though. That's the thing. We can...
July's a nice midpoint, take a check on everybody, see how they're doing.
Yeah. And again, part of the process, once he gets back up to that level of the meat grinder, like sometimes you'll bump into it 2 or 3 times. Kiribayama famously had his issues with that Megashira 1 through 5. And
yes.
He figured it out.
Right. He took the slow path, but each time he made gains.
A little higher. So it's way too early to see for Kinbozan. This is only the 3rd tournament we've seen him.
Right.
4th tournament. Been recent. So keep an eye on him. He's still the I'll say he's the younger gun because
he still has some shine.
There's still a little shine on that. There's a shinier new toy coming up, but we'll get there.
Exactly.
We'll get there. We'll all get there.
So next we have Myogiryu, Megashire 10 West, up from Megashire 14 East, 9-6. This surprised me. I was ready to write him off as like, okay, he's just going to slowly fade, be in Juryo. And he is fighting to stay like senior guy.
I love his energy.
He will not give up for nothing.
So he is so consistent. Like it is like the ability for him to keep to his brand of sumo, stay to his base, use what he has. It's very it's motivating.
Yes.
In a way. And I believe I wrote beforehand, it's not like he did well, it's that everybody around him did worse.
Right.
Everybody else has their issues, their struggles, they're doing
There's
whatever.
a reason why they're down there.
There's a reason why they're down there. And for Myogiryu, he's only down there because of the fade. And he's like, I'm better than all of you. And then he's 9-6.
And he gets it. You know, he knows what he has to work with, and he's going to try to squeak a win out with what he has.
With what he's got. So this is not a revival. He's not going to shoot up the ranks. Like I'm not holding my breath like I am for somebody like Tamawashi or maybe Sadanoumi. But it's just he's the rock of consistency.
Yeah.
He's going to do well. And then he's going to fight people he's just going to lose to. And it has nothing to do with anything but just time and power and speed.
Right, just the natural progression of sumo life and life in general. You get weaker as you get older.
He's a model sumo citizen.
Yes.
Pays his taxes. White picket fence.
He'll be wearing the tracksuit. So next we have Kotoeko, Maegashira 11 East, up from Maegashira 12 West, 8 and 7. So he made some progress. He was looking pretty good in week 1, and then there was some more of the old Kotoeko coming out. That's why he winds up with an 8 and 7. So you can look at it one of two ways. It's either, well, at least he made some progress. At least he was a little bit better. Or you can look at it as something stopping him from being even better than that.
It's a little bit of both, I'd say. If you can go back to sort of, well, very tellingly, Midorifuji's problem as well. You know, is it the size? Is it the technique? Is there some sort of a willpower thing? There is the weird Koto curse that goes on. All those things going on. And we've historically, like, some days we're like, oh, he's finally got it figured out. And we're just like, why is this guy in sumo? Who knows?
Right. It's like every other day is different.
It does feel like there's a momentum building. Like, feel like something's been figured out. That there's a more steady sort of a progression. We need that breakthrough. We need that click of something making it work.
And then staying with it. Like, there's such a lack of consistency going up and down the ranks. And maybe that's always been how it is. But it's just like you keep waiting for certain guys, like a Kotoeko, to figure it out. And it doesn't happen.
It's like maybe July is when he gets that 10 wins.
Right.
And he looks really good. And he's got that highlight reel finish. You know, or he gets another 8 and 7, or it's a 7 and 8. It's
there's almost like not a big difference between the two.
Feels like it some days.
Yeah. So next we have Tsurugisho, Maegashira 11 West, up from 15 West, 9 and 6. Do you think is that a fair enough promotion?
Yeah, it seems pretty decent, particularly the quality of his sumo and some of the wins he got. They also did throw him to the wolves.
They did. They were like, "Okay, we don't want this."
Some of his losses near the end to like Sanyaku. Like I think they threw him at Hoshoryu or something like that. So like there's a little bit of we know what we did to you.
Right. So let's make it up to you.
Make it up to him a little bit. So Tsurugisho is going to be 100%. Was Mei a spark of life or was it a flash in the pan?
That is the question.
I would love for this to be a second wind, and then he just goes on another tear, because that was one of the biggest and best surprises out of May was how well Tsurugisho did.
Right.
If it was a flash in the pan, then
he's going back to Juryo.
Oh man, it's gonna fall hard. But
it would be cool to see him do it again, back to back.
It would be.
But I don't know.
No way to tell. Like,
toss your hands in the air.
Throw your hands in the air. It feels like the smart bet is that it was sort of just the stars aligned, and he's not going to have something like that again. But there's that hope, a little bit of hope, tempered, but it's there.
The hope is always floating around.
Floating around out there. There's some floating his way.
Take a net and catch it.
Catch some.
So next we have Chiyoshoma, Maegashira 12 East, up from Maegashira 13 East, 8 and 7. Here's a guy where a little bit of hope helps. He was starting to slide down the mountain, and he got his claws in and stopped it and made it up a little bit higher. But he's still on that cliff's edge. You don't know if he's gonna like slip again.
He is that guy. Like you're watching you're watching those rock climbing videos, and like there's that one guy. He's like, you can tell. Like the arms are shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
He's holding on. Like there's that moment like he has to rest for a minute on the cliffside.
And you take a deep breath.
You take the deep breath. That's him. And he's climbing up, and we're looking at him just like, yeah, come on, you can make it to the top.
But then it's like, but his arms are shaking, and he has a long way to go.
The arms are shaking. You fall into that sort of like you need a longer rest. Your hands are still you're still holding on. It's not like you're shaking it off. So,
well, it's exactly as you say. Like, he just needs more time. It's harder to recover after tournaments when you get to his age. He's always coming up with a new plan. He's very engaged in his sumo, but just time. Tick, tick, tick.
It's time.
So we will see. I wouldn't be too surprised if he puts up another 8 and 7 down at, because he's only gone up to 12 East.
Yeah, 8, 7, 7 and 8. He should at least be able to hold this general area.
You would think. Next we have Wakataka Kage. That's a painful name to read now. This is our Asanoyama, but for such a different reason. 0, 0, and 15. Next he goes down to Juryo. I wish they would just take the guy and just throw him all the way down.
This is also where like put him on like a disabled list.
Yeah.
And so like, you go to somebody, like you go to them and be like, look, I'm not gonna be able to do this for a long time. Like you take them off the Banzuke, you don't talk about, and then when they're ready to come back, you just put them in the top 10 of Makushita. Like I feel like we should be doing that for all these injury people. For all the suspension people.
Yeah, why is the spot being taken up by somebody who cannot?
There is no way he's fighting. And then he's just going to go down to Juryo. He's going to clog Juryo. Yeah. And then he's going to clog upper Makushita. And then he's finally going to be down on the rank in the unsalaried people where nobody keeps track.
What even if you attain a certain level? Like he was Sanyaku, potential Ozeki. What if you could sort of test your way back in after the injury? So you get taken completely off the Banzuke, and then you fight in a tournament or something.
Well, I think like there's already a precedent. Like if you're some new hotshot, I think I did this before. I'm doing it again. Sorry guys, we're just going through this again. I still feel like this is a solution to talk about. That you have your people like your Haku Ohos, all the people who are like there's that fast lane. Yeah. Where they don't dump you in the bottom. They just stick you in the top 10, 20 of Makushita. And they're like, you're just starting here because we know you're good.
Right.
Like, just do that for your Sanayamas who get suspended, for your Wakataka Kages who get injured, for your Terunofujis, for your Uras, for your insert name of person who was injured for a long time and then had to waste more time out of their lives than ours fighting matches that they had no business fighting.
Right, and it doesn't really help anybody.
Yeah, so like just pluck him out, an extra space. Like Atamifuji had to be on 1 East because there just wasn't enough room for him. He could have been there.
Yeah.
He could have been in the top division right now, and Wakataka Kage is not fighting.
Right.
You pull him out, you put him to the table list, figure out the money in the back end, who cares?
Right.
And then when he's ready to come back, you put him at Makushita 5, and you say, if you're ready to go, you'll just go up, and if you struggle, well, you're unsalaried.
Right, exactly. I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
I don't know. But
Soapbox.
For better or for worse, it'll be the wrap-up show, and then he'll be down in Juryo, and so in September, we will simply be waiting for his return.
Exactly. So now we're going to talk about one of the new hotness. Gonoyama, Maegashira 13 East, up from Juryo 1 East, won the Juryo Yusho 14-1. He's been in pro sumo for less than 2 years, and he's already in the upper division. And he's not the only one, so that's double excitement. But he's a pusher thruster. Haven't seen much of him until this last tournament because I was watching him fight Ochiai, and he's got Ochiai's number, which I find fascinating because a very strong Takakeisho is able to blast out Terunofuji as well. So a very strong pusher thruster who is not injured can counteract some of these really talented guys. And once again, I am just going to cheer for the pusher thrusters. I'm going to throw my support behind Gonoyama, particularly when I saw the interview in which he said Takakeisho is who he looks up to. So I'm like, okay. I didn't know this about Gonoyama because we pay attention to the top 42. But now he gets some extra support from me that he would not have had otherwise. So I'm rooting hardcore for Gonoyama.
That's probably the fastest way to get into your fan club.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just like you like Takakeisho like I do.
Sweet. You're in.
You're in. He is. This guy's big. He's strong. He's imposing his will.
The fact that he has Ochiai's number when we're all talking about Ochiai constantly means something.
Yeah. Also, like, anytime you come into the top division with a cup, that's a statement. That's you saying these people are chumps.
Especially 14-1.
14-1, very strong. And so, barely 2 years. And already here, very exciting, very strong, and just going to likely just start wrecking people. And therein lies the test.
Right. He's got to stay healthy, obviously. Pusher thrusters have a tendency to they're more injury prone. You've got knee issues. You've got cracking your head on the Tachi. You have actually the output is where a lot of the knee injuries come from, like that output into the Tachi. And now he's, like we were talking about, the difference between Juryo and the upper division is immense. And people can tell you that, but until you're actually dealing with it, you don't know what you're capable of. So we don't know yet how Gonoyama's going to do. But I hope that he does really well. I hope we're seeing him really make a name for himself, like, super quick.
Yeah, he'll hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And you have to up here, so.
Oh, yeah, you don't have it. This is like you're hanging out the car door and it's going 35 miles an hour and you figure out if you're going to pull yourself back in or if you're going to throw yourself out the door.
Are you going to be a smear on the pavement? Time to find out.
Yeah. Throwing him right into the wolves. So next we have Kotoshouho, Maegashira 13 West, down from 5 West, 2-10-3. This was a major collapse. I actually think he probably could have fallen lower than that. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's a bad case, man. He is falling apart. He's been injured pretty much since he came up. And he spent that whole time in Juryo. He comes back and, like, nothing's improved. He has, like, moments of flashes of glory, and then he's hurt again.
He had that momentum building. Gets up to 5, and then gets an injury, which sucks.
Yeah.
So his mental toughness was always something that seemed to be holding him back. And now this is going to be a very strenuous test of it, which is a little concerning as a fan of Kotoshouho. But if sort of like he's been like, I've been here before, I know how to get out of it. So like if he's able to work through it with his past experience,
then he'll be stronger.
He'll be able to deal with this. Also, in regards to your demotion comment, so Nishikifuji went down 5 ranks with a 3-12, and he went down 8 ranks with a 2-13.
All right, fair enough. I don't know, that 2-10 just stands out whenever you see that, but then there's the 3.
Yeah, so it's however you weigh it, it's at least proportional.
Yeah.
I feel like if he was already struggling, and then
right,
got the
this
2
was
13, they may usher him out, but he was high enough up and had enough momentum and he did that coming back thing that I don't like.
If we just had a better way.
Yeah, well, anyway.
No, we didn't say it.
Oh well. Yep. So this will be a test of his fortitude. Mm-hmm. We'll see. So we get to see if he's learned from his earlier collapse. And he is, for somebody who was, at least looked like he belonged on 5 West, this group here is going to get thrashed.
Yeah.
Should be. Is he going to have a real fight with Terunofuji? He shouldn't.
Well, let's see how he does with Gonoyama. That's a great little test there.
This is sort of what's a little bit of a problem for a lot of the people down here who have been hanging on. Like, you just look at the page right now, we've got Kinbozan. We have Gonoyama, we have Hakuoho, we have Shonanoumi, who we haven't talked about yet, we have Kotoshouho. Like, if you're somebody who needs every single win you can get,
you're going to have a problem.
You're going to have a problem down here.
Yeah.
You're going to have a big problem down here.
That might be your friend Aoyama, perhaps. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So, for Kotoshouho, no easy wins. Not as many easy wins.
But if he fights to his capability,
exactly,
he shouldn't have the problem that some of these other guys are going to have.
Every confidence that he'll just be on the upward trend, assuming the injuries are fine, assuming his mental fortitude holds.
Right. Next, we have Daieisho, Myogiryu 14 East, down for Myogiryu 11 West, 6 and 9. So, I don't know. It might be one of these cases where he went up higher than he's capable of. He's sort of been inconsistent for a little while right now.
A little bit. It seems like he was fighting pretty well enough, and then he got, he sort of dipped his toes into a little bit of a deeper water and had a little issue.
Wasn't quite there.
So now, not quite there. He still has some issues he needs to work out with the sumo, and like I had mentioned with Kotofuji, he's not going to have any easier of a time down here as you would hope from a demotion.
In the past, this would have been okay.
Yeah. In the past, you would have had, you would have had your Chiyomarus, you would have had your Chiyotaryu. You have Tochinoshin, you can get a good day off of him. But now, it's a lot of the out with the old, in with the new.
Right, and he doesn't want to be the old that's on the way out.
That is a distinct possibility for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. The new age is being ushered in.
So he needs to find a way to... Again, it's just like, if you're running away from a bear, you don't need to be faster than the bear.
Right.
You need to be faster than the person running next to you.
Exactly. And, maybe he's got some tricks up his sleeve to be the guy who survives.
Maybe.
He's got some other people that are, in the same boat. So next we have, let's see if I can say this right. Shonan-no-umi.
Yep, Shonan-no-umi.
Myogiryu 14 West, up from Juryo 1 West, 11 and 4. He's been around a long time. I think they said 9 years.
He was the sort of the slumming it for a long time, and then finally makes the break. So a very Wakamotoharu.
Okay.
And that he sort of just like woke up one day, just like, it's time to do real sumo.
Right. I'm sick of this Juryo stuff.
Sick of this Juryo nonsense. I think he was a Makusha for a while too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was a real blue collar sumo worker.
And now all of a sudden he's finally here.
Back in. So I'm going to be interested in him for the same reason I was interested in Bushozan. In that here's the guy who sort of just like makes it to the big leagues, and he doesn't have all that fancy spotlight and jazz and glitter coming after him.
He just worked his way up. And they're kind of like, oh, him.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, particularly you have Gonoyama and Hakuoho who came up with him.
And they just sped their way up.
They sped their way up. Everyone's talking about that. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, Shonan-no-umi. It's like, hey, let's see what he does.
Well, we'll give you a few minutes on the mic.
Yeah. It's just like he also was promoted. On to other things.
Exactly. Is that why he's italicized on the notes?
Every time somebody's from Juryo, I italicize.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That way,
makes sense.
Yeah. Because because the only other place it was mentioned is when we're doing the rankings.
Got it.
So
okay.
Everybody's italicized so that they're freshly up or down. Particularly if you have some people who had our Chiyomaru revolving doors. Right.
It would be easy to accidentally miss a guy because there's so many guys going in and out of Juryo.
So Shonan-no-umi, I want to see your stuff.
Yep, we can't really make a great opinion about you until we see how you do.
He did seem to have good focus from the limited bouts that I saw him. Some good force, good at finding the moment. It seemed. I don't know how many moments they're going to be at the top division, but we're going to find out.
Right, and he's got some guys that presumably he's faced before.
Yeah,
that's the interesting thing when Juryo guys come up. It's like no one in the top division has faced them, but they've all faced each other. And they all have their little axes to grind with each other. So.
Yeah, they're sort of bringing the rivalries up with them.
Yeah, we got 2 storylines going on with that. So we will see. Next, we have Ruden, Myogiryu 15 East, down from Myogiryu 10 East, 5 and 10. So this is the Enho effect.
Yeah. So normally, the Enho effect is you're the super small guy, but you have all these techniques. But then once people figure you out, the Tritsuyoshi is also another example. That you sort of you're out of tricks and then you just flounder and fall down. So Ryuden is massive, but people figured out that one trick.
Right.
If he can't get your belt, he can't win.
So they'll just knock you right out.
They knock you right out. And what was getting also worse is that some people were able to figure out how to work with him on the belt In which case, then even when he had his weapon, it wasn't working.
Right. If you could be a guaranteed win if you get the belt, you can survive a lot easier than I mostly win.
Mostly win. So, I mean, I think there was only a couple times that he got the belt and didn't win. And the more often than not, people are just keeping him off the belt entirely. And so
that's a big issue.
So now he's in that technique arms race that he needs to find a new way to get in there. He needs to find a fresh method.
That's when you start throwing elbows to the face.
Maybe a little bit.
Forearm shiver, you know. I don't know that that's his type of style.
Probably not.
Yeah.
He's more of a jockey guy.
Yeah, we might see a
angle.
We might see a return of the jockey Tachi.
That's a callback.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
that's in my head right now. It's spinning.
It is that's the moment. Like we were talking about before. There's some moments you just don't forget.
Yeah, I will never forget the jockey Tachi.
He needs to sort of figure things out. I think it's too late for him to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So if he figures out a way to like reignite that spark, because he showed up and he just got everybody's belt and chucked him 11-4, 10-5, 9-6. Really good.
This is the kind of moment in a sumo wrestler's career where the shift to the side actually might become necessary.
A little bit of that.
I'm not saying full Henka.
Hit and shift.
Exactly, hit and shift just to get the belt.
Deflect off the Tachi.
Or
you're still meeting your opponent with honor.
Right, exactly. Like head on, but then do a parry.
Yeah. So it's one of those he may be low enough down that he's fine, or if he continues to have the same struggles that he's just on the way out. That's all. It's all up to him. It's all on him. He still has his size. He still has the grip strength that can probably rip a phone book in half.
Right.
So,
but he's pretty low down, so he's run out of room.
It comes down to those 15 days. It all comes down to this.
Do your style of sumo.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all the cliches. So, speaking of which, this is a guy in a very similar boat, but in worse decline. Takanosho, Maegashira 15 West, down from... look, they came down together, too.
They came down together.
Down from 10 West, 5-10. So, he is the aging veteran that we're actually seeing in real time falling apart.
Yep.
There's not much... He used to be able to bounce back. So, it used to be every other tournament, like great tournament, bad tournament, great tournament. We're not seeing the great tournament.
No more great tournaments.
We're seeing like a 6-9 or a 7-8, and that's considered the great tournament.
He's holding on.
Yeah, and who knows what he's holding on for, with the elder stock situation, being in Terunofuji stable. There's some reasons he hasn't retired yet. Maybe he just loves sumo so much. But physically, you could see a need, and you wouldn't question it if he were to retire very soon.
I feel like it's do or die for him here. He's just too low to squeak.
Yeah.
Anything worse than a 7-8,
he's done.
He's done. Go to Juryo. That's the cold math of it.
And I don't know how long it's been since the guy was in Juryo. Like, has he ever been demoted to Juryo since he rose up?
It's been a long time, I think. I think he's just been a career Megashira guy for a long, long time. Look at that, Megashira. Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is dangerous territory then.
Sekiwake.
Yeah.
9 years ago. So, yeah.
You could just go back in time to celebrate.
He's been in here forever.
Yeah, so...
Forever.
Finally
we get to Juryo when he enters it 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
we're talking about dangerous territory as far as career right now.
It's unfortunate. He's been so fun. He's given us so much.
So we'll see if he can squeak by for just a little bit longer.
If
he can hang in till Terunofuji gets 10 Yusho. I don't know if that's even possible, but
if 7-8 is the barest minimum. And
that,
even that may be too much.
That's gonna be tough with all the new guys here.
Yeah, including the next guy who I completely forgot's down here.
Oh yeah, he took a tumble.
Yeah.
So let's get right to our next guy. Endo, Maegashira 16 East down from 2 West, 0, 7, and 8. Probably the biggest dump of the whole tournament.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's 14 ranks down. Actually, I'm gonna check something. Okay, that is a massive dump.
That is a massive.
It's actually worse than Wakatakakage.
Wow. That's kind of strange.
I'm trying to think. So, yeah, Wakatakakage went down 11, and he went down 14.
There's some method to that madness.
So, on one hand, yeah, okay. He's, Wakatakakage is a Ozeki candidate, and...
Yeah, but Endo actually showed up.
Yeah, well...
I mean, he was there.
Yeah, he was super injured. And again, now we go back to it. Like, maybe if he had came back and tried to do some crap sumo on the last 3 days, they would have done him some favors. But now I'm just getting in my own head and mad about this. But here's the thing. An Endo, a guy who was at Megashira 2 and maybe a little overranked, but not by much, is going to get chucked down here. If he has one good leg... These people are in danger.
Right, exactly.
If he has anything.
Maybe they just wanted Endo to be a teacher. Yeah. They're like, we want him to teach all the new guys who are coming up.
Maybe they wanted to give him a special prize.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he needs some cash. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they pulled him aside and just like, look, I'd like a good 20 grand. And they'll be like, hey, I'll tell you what. We're going
to let you go a little bit further than typical.
Yeah, we're going to dump you a little further down, but good news.
I don't know if I've ever seen Endo this low.
I don't remember it.
That's why it threw me when you said, oh, our next guy. I'm like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the Banzuke before today, and I still did not process that.
Yeah, when I was looking around for all the people that you got to fight down here, like my eyes went right over him. I was just like, oh, I don't, like, it's like he's not new.
Yeah.
In my head, so my brain didn't register. But yeah, wow. Yeah, he's up 10, 11, 12 wins at this rank.
I hope so.
Now he has the same issue that everyone else does, that you have a Hakuoho and you've got your Gonoyama, but like he's also like he's the welcoming party for them more than the other way around.
Right, like he's experienced enough that he's gonna notice if they make a mistake.
Yeah, Hakuoho tries some belt stuff on Endo.
This could potentially be very interesting.
There's some moments, like, if Hakuoho is all that in a bag of chips, then if he does put dirt on Endo, that'll be very interesting. Yeah. So maybe they've just thrown an interesting scenario out there. Yeah. Still think he could have been like 13. It's a little rough because if he's not healthy, he's in Juryo next time. So I mean, they really threw him down, and he, like I said, he at least showed up. I don't get why they did that to him. Yeah. They did him dirty. Yeah, I don't get it. We're going to have to see what happens with that. Next, we have Bushozan, Megashira 16 West, up from Juryo 3 East, 10-5. Second time in the top division. Second time's the charm, we hope. He really struggled in his first trip up. Maybe he's learned something. Oh, yeah. Well, also getting at 10-5, going down to Juryo and getting double digits right off the rip. That is the no. Give me, like you're in the arcade and you get the game over and the people want to go and play. And you sort of push them away and pull another quarter out of your pocket. You're just like, I'm not done. I'm not done here. I could beat this boss. Yeah, that's what he's saying right now. Is he gonna beat the boss? I don't know. Actually, I don't have a read on this. There is something to be said for the just immediate return. The sort of, because we always talk about like when you're in the penalty box. How long are you in Juryo after you get kicked out? And so for him to basically like jump in and then just jump right back out and then be like, penalty's over, let's go. Very, It should be a good sign. Should be a good sign. Now it is, there you do have some people that like they're sort of in no man's land, that they can't hack it up here, but they're too good for down there, and then they sort of just keep going up and down. So I don't know if Bushozan's gonna be a ping pong fan, or if the second time's the charm. I've got no read. And, the bottom of the top division looks very different now than the last time he was there. So you got to factor in the fact that it's almost like we're starting over anyway with him. So good luck. Good luck. Next, we have Aoyama, Megashira 17 East, down from Megashira 12 East, 5-10. Is this the last that we see of your guy? Drink it in, guys. This is it. Oh, I don't want you're not that pessimistic. No. I can't put it together. Like, for Terunofuji, like, if he can get a 7 and 8, just barely. There ain't no room. They have spared people on the bottom rung before. but that was like special circumstances. That was like heart of sumo kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not.
And that's after his stablemate retired.
It's
going downhill.
I am preparing for the worst. I am expecting this is the Kaisei last time we see him kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love being wrong. I just don't see the light.
Oh, that's so sad. That's some darkness right there.
I'm gonna every day I'm gonna see him. I'm gonna sort of I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna have a smile on my face. You know.
Maybe watch the match a second time if he wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you know how it is. Like there's that like you're about to graduate high school, and like there's that last time you walk down the halls.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm just gonna soak it in.
And everything feels a little weird.
It's a tingle almost.
Yeah, and maybe the light shines a little differently.
Yeah, like you look at your locker, you close the locker, and you're just like, I'm not gonna see this locker again for my life.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting right now. And so like there's a joy in it. There's sort of a nice that swan song, as they say.
Right, because there's a pleasant reminder.
There is. And he'll have a track jacket.
He'll have a track jacket.
Like everyone else. He's got the citizenship. He'll be hanging out in the back with Kaisei and all the others.
We're going to have a lot of fun with all these sumo coaches. We really are. This is our first time. Like, we get to see them go from wrestler to coach, and then they're going to rise up the new guys, and we're going to be the ones who's like, oh, remember when he fought? Like, we've watched sumo long enough now to be able to say that.
We're getting there, yeah. We got it.
So that's cool.
We got it good. So it's fine. And hey, yeah, if he gets a 9-6, just throw all that out. We're fine. I'm back to school, guys. This
will be definitely a short if you are wrong, because this will be a happy one. I'll put
happy short.
Smiley faces all over it.
Oh, yes.
So finally, the big hype, the guy, the name. Everyone's been talking about him before he was even a thing. I want to say Ochiai, but it's now Hakuoho. Maegashira 17 West, up from Juryo 8 West, 14-1. Many people did not think he was coming up. But you, John, of course, knew that was ridiculous.
With a Yusho equivalent, and all the hype.
Yeah.
In the past, Ichi Yamamoto and Oho sort of got up with what I'll call special circumstance, because they were a little bit too low on the Juryo to really be considered. But then they get the little bump up. They had a little bit of momentum, a little bit of wishful thinking going their way. So when he shows up and he's 14-1, Yusho equivalent at 8.
Yeah.
I didn't even think.
Showin.
Like, the real question for me was whether they were going to bump Aoyama for a Tomifuji, and the answer was no.
That was one last spare right there.
Yes. So now it was interesting that they put him at the absolute bottom rung.
Right.
I feel like that was sort of a nod to it's a stretch, but we think he's ready.
What's interesting, so the stories I hear out in the internet sumo world is that Hakuho wanted to name him Hakuho, and he was advised against it.
Yeah.
Which I find funny. He was going to give his name to this kid, so that's how much he believes in this kid. And even to have the Hakuoho, I think that's a temporary thing. I think if he lives up to the hype, he will be Hakuho in a couple years.
I can see that. That's a good point.
I think that's what we're holding. We're holding in place. Yeah. Hakuoho is a hold. He will be the next Hakuho if he lives up to expectations.
I think if he gets to Ozeki, if he gets to Yokozuna, definitely
Yokozuna. If he gets up to Yokozuna, but maybe at Ozeki. If he makes it to Ozeki, he is the next Hakuho.
Yeah.
I think the reason I think this is because the whole Kirishima thing. Kiribayama had been in that stable a long time, and he waited until Ozeki to give him the name. And I think that's what happened here is they were telling Hakuho, don't jump the gun. You never know, especially with injuries. I think injuries is really the big thing. Yeah. Just wait.
During some of the ceremonies, like they had when they had it, so like it's Ochiai holding his Hakuoho name.
And so he covered it.
And yes.
He covered it up.
So it was 3 characters, which is Hakuoho, and then it's all formalized kanji letters that have all sorts of different distinct meanings, but it's Haku O Ho as the way that is, and then Miyagi no Oyakata sitting right next to it just cheekily puts his hand over the O, so then it is Haku Ho.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're being pretty obvious here, and I think that's cool though that Hakuho, because Hakuho wanted to keep his name.
Then they wouldn't. Yeah,
they wouldn't let him do it.
All sorts of.
There's a huge story here if this young man becomes Hakuho.
Yeah. Well, it is. What it will also be interesting is because it'll take him a little while just from physical climbing up the Banzuke.
Yes.
So like, if he is the prodigy child that everybody says he's going to be, and he's just going to launch himself up the ranks, then like. And this time next year, he'll be in Sanyaku. And, you still have to do your Ozeki run. You still have to do your Yokozuna run. You have to deal with all the pressure. So, like, there's time. And so, like, if he is the spark, the new, fresh thing, everybody comes back in, they'll be like, yeah, call him Hakuho. We don't care. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They'll go from stink to rug sweep like that.
It's funny, though, because you get these once-in-a-lifetime talents like Hakuho. In tennis, you have Roger Federer, these guys that only come once in a lifetime. I think there tends to be a desire to quickly fill that void.
Oh, yeah.
And overhype people. So now I will say that I think that Hakuoho has shown great potential to be a great. I do think there's overhype because of Hakuho being his coach. Maybe. Because of really wanting to fill that role. But I'm not saying it's a great hype. I'm just saying there's a little extra hype in there. So I hope he does I hope that the view of him is not too skewed from a desire to have a new Hakuho. I hope he is exactly what Hakuho thinks he is. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Because I want to see that. We missed the initial Hakuho brilliance. Yep. We missed the whole thing. We came in at the end of his career. I would love to see it again. I'm all about it.
This may happen. Optimistically, the tournament is the great equalizer.
It is.
You can hype. You can have certain golden boys hyped up from here to back, and you've got 15 days to do something about it.
Right. The tournament will make you look silly if you're not ready.
Exactly. So. This is also what we're seeing with Kinbozan, what we're seeing with, who else is up here? We're gonna see it a little bit with Hiradoumi. We're definitely gonna be seeing it with Hokuseiho. It's always comes back to, you've got 15 days of just sumo spirit, and if you can't cut it, there's no cheats.
And there's only one man that we've seen who could do it like no other, and that's Hakuho.
That's him. So
there's a reason why he's the guy. That's all I can say. So this is going to be a very exciting July. We got some Juryo guys to discuss because they're going to be putting on a show as well. There's a lot of people who are interested in Roga. I have not put any time on him yet, because there's just so much energy that needs to be put into the top guys. But now he's starting to peak in a position where I will start to see more of Roga. But we have, let's see, Juryo. Kageyaki went back down. Mitoryu's down. Ichi Yamamoto's down. These are guys that, I question their ability to stay in the top division ever.
Yeah, well, they're in the penalty box. Kageyaki was able to bump back up, then fell back down. Ichi Yamamoto's had his slide for a while and just finally caught up with him. Azumaryu sort of just fell apart. Mitoryu never figured it out.
Yeah. Kind of a career Juryo guy at this point.
It's looking that way.
But, we have, like I said, we have Roga, so he's somebody that's been on people's lists.
Tomifuji almost made it up.
Right, so he's the next.
So, yeah, he's having his struggles, but it looks like at this rank, any sort of a rank, and he'll be back up with us.
Tamashoho is Tamawashi's brother-in-law, so there's a little bit. He's been getting a little bit of push on Sumo Primetime.
A little bit, yeah. And he's in a fairly good spot. Kotonowaka, people have talked about.
Takakento, I'm only like thinking about because, man, that stable hasn't had a lot of luck. It's been Takakeisho for a long time. And then, Takanosho, who was falling apart. It'd be nice to see another Taka join the ranks.
It would be nice, yeah. We have Shishi.
Yep, Shishi. Well, that's the big hype where he needs to jump up some ranks before we can get super excited. But he's the next guy everyone's got their eye on. Yep. Tomokaze.
He's working our way. He's almost back to us. A few more tournaments.
The question is, will he ever? He'll never be what he was.
No.
But will he be able to put something together?
He's clawing up. He hasn't fallen back down.
True. That's true.
It's slumming a little bit for him. I think he's hitting a point where it's starting to struggle. Maybe
when he hits the top division again, he'll just get this like adrenaline and he'll just go in.
Maybe. I don't know where his ceiling is anymore, but he's coming back to us.
So now it's time for our favorite part, which is predictions. This never goes well. Never, ever, ever goes well.
I still feel bad for cursing Midorifuji.
I know. You have to. There's nobody we dislike, so we can't, put it on somebody as a scapegoat or something. Let's say minus Terunofuji, because we all know he is the favorite to come in and win.
Okay.
He's the one who's got to win in order to fulfill his dream of getting those 10 Yushos. So forget him. Who's our backup guy?
So there's a lot of stuff going on here. We've got our Ozeki hopefuls up here. We have our Shin Ozeki, who's making a run for it. We go all the way down here. You can see some
perhaps a bottom rung guy,
first time ever, so much hype going in. You've got some dark horses going on here. There's a lot of energy in the air. Now it's gonna be weird because like you're going to September and it's gonna be like, oh man, July was crazy.
Oh yeah, I feel like we're gonna be saying that.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. You have your crazy out of nowheres.
Right.
There's a lot of energy going on here. There's a lot of ways you can pull this.
I know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
And I just feel like I'm feeling physical discomfort.
Uh-oh.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I think so.
Takakeisho.
Oh!
I feel physical discomfort.
Ooh.
I'm going to put it all out there and say that Takakeisho has got a little bit left of the tank and he's got something to prove and he's going to get one more Yusho before this is all done and he's gunning for it in July.
You've inspired me. Let's do an Ozeki double feature.
Okay.
You do Takakeisho, I do Kirishima.
Okay.
I was thinking just like, do you put it on Hakuoho for the running away with it? Do you give it to one of these guys to cement the Ozeki?
Right.
Like
there's too many storylines.
There's a lot of storylines here. Do you give it to Mitakeumi just to put one up on all of us just one last time?
Uh-huh.
Do you give it to Asanoyama?
Right.
You can almost find a reason for everybody on this list.
You could.
To give it for it. But
now, of course, once we pick somebody, like disaster happens to them.
Of course, it's fine.
Double, triple.
It's fine. So I'm with you on this.
Okay.
That we're going to go with the Ozeki. That we're Terunofuji's going to do whatever he does, as he does.
So we're going to say at the very least, these guys are in it and could possibly win it.
Possibly win. Kirishima is just going to shine like a diamond.
It's going to be like, what do you mean he didn't get to practice?
I know. It's like, he's just going to, like, he's just like getting to Ozeki was the hard part for him. And now that he's there, it's all cheese, which we know that's not the case.
Uh-huh.
Takakeisho is going to be healthy. He's going to be hungry. He's the hunger, mad or never.
Yes, the hunger is there, and I look at Terunofuji, right? Bad knees for a long time. Still managed to make it up to Ozeki. He made it all the way to Yokozuna on these bad knees. Takakeisho's still young. He could possibly do it. But we don't know his state, but I'm gonna say that he knows he's running out of time and he's going for it.
He's gonna push for it. He's gonna go for broke. Mm-hmm. Get there. All right, that's what I'm here with this.
Do we wager if I actually watch any Takakeisho matches this time?
I'll send you I'll do this. I typically will watch the matches before Maria, so I will send you a message and I will say Takakeisho is safe today.
Yes.
In the morning. I have to remember.
This is just relating to injury, so he won't tell me.
I'm not win or lose.
He's not injured.
Yes. Yeah, I was just like no injuries today, or I'll be like he takes a tumble, but don't worry.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I need that because I'll watch the match.
You'll watch the match.
But if there's any possibility of injury, just tell me up
front. I'll be like, may I want to skip this one.
There we go. Perfect. This is the new plan going forward with Takakeisho.
Yeah, we'll get through this together.
So the way that this 42 opinions thing works is that this preview show will go up tomorrow. I'll do a live chat. It'll be 4 p.m. Then next week 2, we'll do a couple live chats, usually 3. That's the goal. And then we'll do a recap show the following Monday, 4 p.m., live chat. And we'll go from there. I'm looking forward to chatting with you all. Looking forward to this awesome July-ness. And we're just going to have fun. It's the summer.
Fun, summer times. This is the kind of watch sumo outside on in the park, on a porch, wherever you can have.
Oh yeah, I'm going on vacation and I'm going to be bringing, whatever devices I need, and I'm going to watch sumo on the beach.
Oh, that's the way.
That's my plan.
That's the way.
I can't wait. But I'm going to be looking for your messages.
I got to remember.
Yes.
I'm going to make it a mental note. I'm bad at those, but I gotta put it in there.
You've got it, because otherwise I won't be able to watch.
I'm gonna do my sumo games, and then I'm gonna send you the message.
Perfect.
Do my note. It'll be good. We'll get it.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you soon.
See you later.